where they look at the Ansel's report from Des Moines and say, is this indicative of the Midwest? But we're not seeing that in our Fox News voter analysis match. Yeah, go ahead.
Come on over here. I haven't checked Ohio yet. It's a good state here to examine because Trump won it twice by 8 points. Let's measure his strength right now. And 2020 are about halfway in, okay? Kamala Harris doing better on the margins here, okay? 3.5 points statewide, so some vote out there. But Trump has proven to be pretty strong here in Ohio the last 2 times around. We'll see whether or not he can big Senate race in Ohio as well. Bernie Moreno against Sherrod Brown. We'll track that throughout the night.
All right, guys, I'm here.
Braxton, we're live, baby.
You got Columbus and Franklin County, you got Cleveland and Cuyahoga. Those are your 3 main population centers. They have been blue for some time. I would not expect them to be even a shade of...
God, I'm stressed out.
My hometown. That's Hamilton County.
All right, let me get the...
About 2/3 of the
Let me get some comments rolling.
Anyone else? The progressive and the Democratic movement has got to be pretty strong, especially in local government as well in that city. This is Franklin County, Ohio State University. There's a strong student vote as well. Greater than 2/3 going to Congress right now. In 2020, the final vote is Columbus. You had 65% of the vote for Joe Biden there. So those votes still out there, but she is overperforming Biden's number from 4 years ago. And this, I'll just finish up here, guys. Cuyahoga, check this. Heavily Democratic, 31 Democratic votes in Cleveland, Ohio. Cuyahoga, just about 1/3 of the
We got 4 watching, it says.
71%.
All right, guys, I'm here.
That'd be a good number for Kamala Harris, if indeed that holds up. And I think that kind of tells us a little bit about why this number is closer than it's been the last 2 times.
You want to talk to your co-author?
All right, guys, it's close. I don't think it's close, but it looks like it's close. I just talked to Rob on the phone for about an hour, and he was trying to calm me down. Sis, stop touching that. My camera's there. Come on. Come on. Oh, it means. All right, guys, we're out wrestling matches with dogs.
In the South. So if people are leaving the Northeast and moving to Florida, they're not all of a sudden bringing a bunch of Democratic politics with them. So there might be a little bit of a change here to watch in the numbers there. The other thing I wanted to say is that one of the things that
what do we got? So they're saying they're predicting Arizona, and I seen that he was ahead in. Let's see, where's he at?
The Biden-Harris administration pushed them into politics and into voting because their situation is dire. And they want a better life. So they went to the rallies, and they went to the podcasts, and they had fun, and they got involved. What will be interesting to see is that...
Guys, this election feels different than any election I've ever been part of, ever.
If you don't vote often, or if you're a first-time voter. Whichever party you vote for the first time, you're likely to vote for that party the second time.
Rick Keaton says both of them are bad choices. Come on, man, grow up. Just join the just take the plunge and join the Trump team and get over it. It feels good to be over here on this side. Positivity, man.
Likely coming from the suburbs, which is leaning more to Harris.
There's something else I see very quickly, and I see it in Virginia. Remember, this is the first presidential election since Glenn Youngkin was...
I don't have my mic here, brother. This is the best it's gonna get.
Education, just really post-COVID policies, these school board elections. I think we're having a parents' rights renaissance in this country that continues. And I think 2 pillars that we don't cover enough in all the issues, the themes here.
Military dad for Trump. Joseph says go Trump.
Trump is seen as the strong leader by more than 10 points over Kamala Harris.
Guys, I've been watching on YouTube, like all the Democratic side of things, like Media's Touch, all them guys, and they're scared to death. I mean, they are all scared to death at this point. Unless we go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning and wake up in the morning and there's all of a sudden 80,000 or 80 million new people in the world. You know, that happened last time pretty much.
But how Kamala Harris chose someone in Tim Walz who was to the left of her on the woke agenda.
Tyler said he's moving to Mexico if Kamala wins.
Justin and I love sports, so you, Brett. When you can.
Let's talk Argosy, something we can fix.
Somebody you're not supposed to be. If he wins Virginia.
How many small owners are on here on the chat? Like, are you a small business owner?
I did not think, you talked about the Seltzer poll, and Jess and I talked about this before we got on. That number suggests, that's what she was suggesting, you can close there. We'll see as the night goes on. But Georgia, North Carolina.
Come on, baby.
The states that she's
Amy she left the room.
And if he can win Virginia.
Guys, I'm just going to warn you. I might cuss tonight, and you might see me get pretty excited. So, fair warning. If you got your kids in the room, just let them know don't listen to Tim tonight.
Look at the gender breakdown in these states and where we are at half the vote in someplace like Ohio and Texas, where that vote's coming from. We're going to get that.
Yeah.
Coming up.
In minutes away, bro. That is what we're doing.
Already broke the lamp.
Closings that are coming
This
up.
thing's trashed.
Michigan and Wisconsin, all about to close, and Sean
Oh, Lord.
will enter our chat as our special coverage continues.
If the economy wasn't so bad, I'd bust the TV probably.
Everyone's getting that new Simply Safe outdoor monitor.
How do we compete with AI-powered outdoor cameras and live agent monitoring?
Stop. This is simply safe.
Whoa! You see those guys? There's no sense.
207 Trading Post. Where you at, brother?
I joined the Army in 2004. The later part of my military service, I operated as a civil affairs team leader within special operations. Our job was to effect change with the mission of defeating ISIS. We were doing it.
All right, if we take Georgia
at one of the schools where
and
girls
we
were
get,
getting ready to return home.
we need
I saw
Georgia,
them
we
losing
need,
control, losing their grip on the people.
it looked like he was heading to Virginia last time I looked.
For like an assassination. An ISIS suicide bomber had squeezed his
All right, we got
way
Mississippi.
and detonated a suicide vest.
Mississippi,
So,
looks like we got a check mark
I
on
had a
that.
total of 22
We got the
life-saving
Senate in
surgeries
Mississippi.
over 2 years that I spent in the hospital. We were worried. We didn't know how we were going to be able to pay for the house, how we were going to continue to pay our mortgage. That's when
Oh, we definitely
the
need Pennsylvania.
Foundation stepped in and said, we have a solution for your problem. We don't have to worry about packing up and moving somewhere else because Tone Towers Foundation is going to help us.
I think we'll get the Senate. We should get the Senate.
Very emotional how I want to see.
Missouri. Let's see where we're at in Missouri.
Because they're going to be spending so many happy moments here.
Come on, let's get some votes in, guys.
The Tone Towers Foundation didn't just provide me with a way to be independent in my own place, but they gave me hope. A hope for the future, knowledge that I can overcome these things, but I don't have to do it alone. Hello, I'm Major Jonathan Turnbull.
So far, we're 111 to 72.
Built me a smart home that will give
Trump's
me-
leading North Carolina now. Hell yeah, baby. Good deal.
Donate $11 a month.
Boys, if we get North Carolina
Can help
and PA, it's over. That's just it.
Please visit T2T.
God, I'm so relieved to see that because the way they had it, it looked like we were losing. Woo! Come on, boys. North Dakota, we're definitely at North Dakota, but it's only 3% in. So it can flip pretty easy.
We are even more new numbers in here, and we are about to see a close in Arizona, Michigan, and Wisconsin, all obviously battleground states, all very hotly contested, and those closes are just minutes away. So meanwhile, let's check back in with
Come on,
Harris
baby.
Faulkner, who is speaking with voters and hearing their voices. Hi, Harris.
And watching everything you guys are doing, Martha. Thank you. This is Voters' Voices, and I'm Harris Faulkner here with me, polling expert Lee Carter. And we have a
How could any sane person vote for this woman? I don't understand it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Somebody please help me figure that out.
Clip from Vice President Kamala Harris. The lines on the screen show how voters
New Jersey.
real time as the two gather, and the red lines represent Republicans, the blue Democrats, the gray are independents. Here it is.
Kim Jong-un, God, he won that one.
Prices are still too high, you know it and I know it. And unlike Donald Trump, who had $400 million served to him on a silver platter, I come from the middle class. And I will never forget where I
Well, guess what? I come from the middle. I come from the broke class.
Plan will lower the prices you
That's
pay
going to be my new intro for the YouTube channel.
prescription drugs,
Guys,
increase the housing.
my Peterbilt blew up, but I come from the middle class.
Costs on you and your families. In fact, independent economists have analyzed our plans and found that mine will cut your costs and strengthen our economy. His will increase inflation and lead to a recession.
What are we watching right here? Why we got a line going across?
Independents, Republicans didn't find what they wanted. Again, we're watching for independents.
That's right. You can see there. Independents gave this a D.
I can't stand her voice. I just can't, guys, I just
Gave it a
can't
F.
stand
Now,
her
I think
voice.
what's so interesting about the independent voter there is they really were turned off when they heard her talk about the middle class. And I also heard from voters that they wanted more specifics on the economy, and they said that you can find experts to reinforce whatever you want to believe. I'd rather hear what you're going to do for me.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, Chip is a little bit bald right now.
Republican registered voter, still not sure all the way up until the time you voted. What did you do and why?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me tonight, Iris. And I think that.
Oh yeah, let the haters hate tonight, boys. Just let them roll.
Win my vote, and they can talk about everything relative to the economy.
I need to make some money. Because if this shit goes sideways, we're going to have to rely on YouTube to pay the bills. I got a lot of kids.
And for me, I can say personally that I am concerned with the direction that the country is headed in. And I would say for
Trump got North Carolina?
electorate, that the same sentiment is shared. So I think that we all have to really contextualize all this information and ask ourselves the actual questions of how we feel in the circumstances.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for Donald Trump.
All right, this is the second time, you're 22, that you voted in a presidential election. Was your vote different this time than it was in 2020? Did you vote for him last time?
I did not vote for him last time.
Sounds like the economy made a huge difference for you.
You better be voting the right way, woman.
This is fun, getting to know all of you as we watch in real time. We've got some races that are coming in too, and we don't want to miss a minute with Brett and Martha. So we will hear more from the
Trump got South Carolina.
So glad to be here with all of you.
All right, we got South Carolina, which I do that already.
So we welcome Sean Kennedy to the panel. Sean,
Tennessee, of course he got Tennessee. That wasn't even a close race.
Some significant takeaways already.
I have a lot of takeaways from tonight. Obviously, you guys have gone over the issues and what is important to people and what they've been telling all the pollsters, exit polls, etc. I'm looking at this from a little bit different perspective tonight. To me, it's a numbers game. I was on with Dana and Bill Hammer earlier today, and I made the point going into today that Kamala Harris and her team had a numbers problem. And the numbers
Oh yeah, if she wins, I'm definitely gonna have to take YouTube serious.
The votes or the percentages of votes.
I'll be living in Rooster probably.
2020 when it was Biden and Harris. Now that's a math problem that you have to overcome with.
Guys, right now under their administration, if you go take a loan out, like I just bought a double wide.
I've checked in with a lot of people that I trust.
And before, it's nice to be able to use the bank's money to pay for something. You ain't got to pay cash up front. The hell, you got to pay back $500,000 for $150,000? That's crazy. That's highway robbery. No wonder all these big bank corporations and stuff endorsed her and all these celebrities. Hell, they ain't got to struggle. They don't know shit.
If you took a look, he's been doing a really good job analyzing numbers, I think. Now, in Philadelphia, I'm trying to get an answer, but I'm not going to.
I know one thing, I ain't gonna watch none of them on TV
I
no
did
more.
notice on the networks, they kept showing Temple University and a massive line of students. Okay. The only problem was, if you go back to early voting in 2020, the Democrats had a 1.1
Guys,
million.
I thought he had it in 2020 too, and I was comfortable with it. I went to bed and I woke up with a whole new surprise.
Vote decline in a year. That would mean today they would have needed massive turnout. They would need massive turnout. Yes, at the universities, it seems like they got it. But there's about 25,000 students.
Oh, there'll never be another election. We won't have an election next term if she wins. It'll be all hell. You imagine when she's having a bad week or a bad month? She lets her emotions get involved? Oh, Lord.
A lot of union workers, did they show up in the numbers? There are people reporting.
She gets involved with one of the foreign countries or something, one of them guys over there. And, oh, Lord, I can just imagine how it's going to go.
They don't see it. Now, it's either one way or the other. The fact that they don't know the answer to that is a little surprising to me. If those numbers aren't there, that means Pennsylvania is a state that is in the state of play big time tonight. It may not show up early, but it'll show up as the night evolves, just like Wisconsin will.
I don't think it's going to be I think we're going to get results pretty fast on this one.
And these podcasts are the podcasts.
I really do. I really feel like we'll get.
Watching and listening to Theo Vaughn, Joe Rogan, Jake Paul, all of these guys. So just because they're in college doesn't mean this time around that they're necessarily voting the way that you think college students vote.
We also welcome Kaylee McEnany, Trey Gowdy. Kaylee, the interesting thing I mentioned earlier was...
Obama's pretty much running it, if you ask me.
But inside those numbers, there's a massive Puerto Rican turnout in Osceola County and other places.
Yes.
In other places, the media would tell you that MSG rally really upset the Puerto Rican vote outpouring, but Trump won that overwhelmingly with a massive Puerto Rican.
I gotta go turn the air conditioner down because I am burning up.
But it is interesting to look at.
It is. So Osceola County, as you point out, a big Puerto Rican population. Listen to this. Joe Biden won Osceola County by 14%.
Chip, quit chewing up stuff.
Currently, Donald Trump is leading by 1. Now, what other national lessons can we take from Florida? Miami-Dade County, a huge Latino population. No presidential candidate has won since 1988. Ron DeSantis, of course, won Miami-Dade as a governor. But currently, Donald Trump in Miami-Dade County, 95% reporting, is plus 11.
Yeah, thank you. The electoral vote count about to go up. Stay tuned.
You're seconds away from 15 states, including New York, Colorado, Texas, plus critical battlegrounds.
We are going to win the state of Michigan.
Arizona, we need to fight this battle on every front.
With 163 electoral votes on the line.
Woo! Come on, baby.
As they come in, the moment is here.
The moment is here.
Is watching.
All right, more polls is closed.
It's 9 o'clock in New York. Another 15 states have just finished voting. This is the heat of the matter here.
All right.
Decision desk.
We definitely need PA.
Michigan.
For sure, Brandon.
Battlegrounds in the Rust Belt that just finished voting, part of that blue wall that we hear about all the time.
Michigan.
President Harris and former President Trump appear to be locked in a very tight race. And again, this is too early, not too close, but too
How could Michigan even...
Arizona also too early to call as the polls are closing there.
Fox News can project that former President Trump will win Texas. That locks 40 more electoral votes.
All right, we're at 178, baby. Heck yeah, we need 270. We need 100 more.
You remember that Iowa poll had people scrambling there at the Des Moines Register saying it was Harris lead by 3.
Yeah, the same day Emerson had him up by 10, but that got a lot of people's attention because Ann Seltzer is such a well-known and usually...
Well, we got Arizona. That's a good one.
Nebraska, the Fox News Decision Desk can project that Trump will win the statewide vote. Nebraska gives 2 electoral votes to the winner of the state and 1 vote to the presidential winner in each of their districts.
All right, puts us at 180.
Nebraska's 1st and 3rd districts, the more suburban 2nd district, Omaha, which is the blue dot that we have talked so much about, that is too early to call, but Harris has a lead there.
The Fox News Decision Desk can project that Vice President
New York.
in New York.
She got New York.
28 more electoral votes.
Dang.
She also has a lead in Minnesota. Too early to call the state of Minnesota, which closed in recent days, according to polls.
I don't get it, boys.
The vice presidential candidate, Tim Walz, from Minnesota.
All right, she got Colorado.
Victory in Colorado as well. She gets 10 more electoral college votes there. New Mexico, too early to call, but Harris has a lead, according to our Fox News voter analysis in New Mexico.
Former President Trump will win Louisiana, which has voted for a Republican in every election this century. Pretty sure we were going to get that one. Trump also wins Kansas, adding another 6 electoral votes to his tally.
The former president will win North Dakota, a longtime conservative state as well. He will also take South Dakota, which often mirrors the vote of its neighbor to the north.
And Fox News can project that the former president will win Wyoming, or 3 electoral votes. So there you see the tally on your screen.
All right, they're coming in, boys.
Electoral votes to 113. That map of the U.S. is slowly filling in, and we will continue to bring that to you throughout the night as we make more calls.
So moving to the Senate and back to the Rust Belt as well. The Fox News decision desk say it is too early to call this race, which we've been watching between incumbent Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin, who is in a close race now with Republican banker and entrepreneur Eric Hovde.
Michigan Senate race also too early to call. Former GOP Congressman Mike Rogers competing against current Democratic House Representative Alyssa Slotkin. In Arizona, Democratic House Representative Ruben Gallego has a lead on Republican candidate Carrie Lake, also too early to call out there.
Go to Nebraska, and there are 2 Senate races on the ballot today, and the race between incumbent Deb Fischer and independent Dan Osborne is too close. It's close to call and too early to call, I should say, according to our decision desk. Fox News can't predict.
I don't like how close it is.
Ricketts will continue to serve as a Nebraska senator.
In Texas, two-term Senator Ted Cruz is locked in a close race against...
Does anybody know where they're at in PA right now? What it's looking like? What percent's in?
Decision desk, but they can project that Minnesota's Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar will sail to a 4th term.
New York Democratic Senator Kristen Gillibrand will win another term in the Empire State, and Democrats will hold their seat.
I just don't get it.
Where Senator Martin Heinrich defeats Republican Nella Domenici.
Daughter of the late Senator Domenici. North Dakota's GOP Senator Kevin Cramer will easily win a 2nd term, and in Wyoming, Senator John Barrasso will also win re-election as he serves as the chair of the Senate Republican Conference.
All right, the 6%.
Is stacking up at this hour, 9:04 on the East Coast, and we have 46 Republicans. The one flip, which we have mentioned, is West Virginia, waiting for other states that are on the bubble and close and early at this point in the night. 37 Democrats are hanging on to their seats in the United States Senate.
All right, let's go look at the...
We're starting to get more of the hard numbers. Let's go to Bill at the billboard. Harold, I'm sorry, Texas went to the Republicans.
No, I just think the numbers. I'm only looking at some of the public vote numbers and how the candidates performing the minority vote.
I'm just joking.
Okay, so a couple things here. It goes blue. What are you talking about?
All right, so the way I've been watching it, it's been blue at first, and then it goes red. Like, so it looks like they're getting more blue votes, or counting blue votes more up front than red votes. And then the red come in.
She's going to win the county, okay? Question is the margin. The question is whether or not, Trump is chewing in this African-American male vote that we're talking about, because I want to come up to North Carolina. I'll show you a county. Okay, this is rural, and it's also African-American. 47% African-American. It's a small county here. It's called Ansett.
Let's go
right?
check out some...
Okay? What's that mean? Okay, this is Biden 4 years ago by 4 points, okay? Trump right now, flipping that county, is there a minority vote out there that is helping to buoy his campaign? That's something we got to consider. Another thing I want to point out, just while I got you here, okay, guys? This is the part of the state that was wrapped by that hurricane, all right? This is Trump territory, all right? 61%.
Let's go check out some Democrat.
81%. Come in here for a little bit. This is Buncombe, all right? This is Asheville. You expect this to go blue. Indeed, it has right now. About 2/3 of the vote. No, sorry, 60% of the vote in. You've got 2/3 of the vote right now. But these counties here, you just wonder if there's an effect here, all right? Because 53. This is Transylvania. I was checking this out a short time ago. This is Rutherford, 72.
I like watching Tatum. I love watching his channel.
Your comparison for percentage is that you expect Trump to do well out here. 72, Henderson, 58, Haywood, 62.
He's got like 10,000 people in his live. Holy crap, boys, we need to get up there.
An effect on the vote turnout in North Carolina. Just keep that in mind as we move through the night. Also, I was just poking through here in Ohio. We saw this a moment ago based on the percentage spread. It seems like Trump is upping his number. Remember, I made the point that he won the state by 8 points in 2016, 8 points in 2020. And he was trailing there the last time we checked out the Buckeye State. But right now, the number has improved tremendously for Trump. So he's starting to track a little more toward that 8 points. And you're making the observation earlier about the Iowa poll from over the weekend, do folks in Ohio vote like the folks in Iowa? If Ann Seltzer's poll, the Des Moines Register, had Kamala Harris win in Iowa by 3 points, a lot of people dismissed that. And if you're going to draw that comparison with Ohio,
Let me see if I can find Media's Touch. That guy, they're Democrats. I like to go watch their crap
we'll see throughout the course of the night there. So.
just to see them cry.
We should get a cut from the Des Moines Register. We've mentioned her like 5 times this evening. I don't know, maybe
Just because I popped it up, guys, I'm looking at the first time here. Yeah, you're right about that, right? A little something on the side, a little back sheets, right? Okay, so this is Michigan. The first time I've looked at it, right? You got 10% in.
I'm looking for it.
Look at this. Robert Kennedy can make a difference in Michigan. He is on the ballot. They tried to get him off the ballot. The court said, no, you got to be on the ballot. He's drawing 2,455 raw votes. Okay, now, if Michigan is that close, it's just something that we're going to have
Here we go. Let's go see what they're doing. Here we go.
Probably already doing that sociopathic voice that she always does, where she's very.
Hi, we got some Democrat comments coming in. Bam, boys.
The projected winner in the Arizona Senate election.
Heck no, I ain't hitting that thumbs up button. Let's close this poll.
Also, thank God Mark Robinson didn't get anywhere close to power.
Let's face it, we expected better.
Michigan, Wisconsin, obviously, if it comes
But right now,
down to
to
really
give you guys some updates,
that
it seems as if Kamala Harris is doing better in exurban polling county, Georgia, than Biden did. Harris has 30,000 votes with 86% in, which was Biden's total. Kamala Harris, Paulding County, has 30,000 votes with 86% in, which was Biden's total. Does this mean Kamala Harris is going to win Georgia? We don't know yet. We are waiting for the results to come in. Right now,
I'm on Fox News, guys.
But right now, we are still sifting through a lot of noise.
Presidential election. I was in the green room, Brett, doing what I did in high school.
We need Virginia. What, we were ahead in Virginia?
Let's see.
Anna says Georgia's blue. I don't believe so.
There may be a 269 tie.
Yay for Ruben Gallego. Yep. Someone said I'm feeling a bit better. Yeah, we're just chilling. We're just taking some time. It's definitely a stressful night for everybody. But beyond Harris winning in Virginia, let's see what's going on. Trump was just called for Ohio. Trump wins Ohio. Former President Trump is projected the winner of Ohio, according to Decision Desk HQ. The Buckeye State is worth 16 Electoral College points. Decision Desk is calling a lot of these before major networks, but that's fine. The former president has won the state by just more than 8 points in the past 2 elections. Right now, he's up by approximately 8 points exactly. I'm sorry.
Oh crap, they're getting tore up.
50% of the vote in.
Tonight, as we started this broadcast.
Yep. Stay calm. Stay Kamala. Is that what it is? Stay Kamala and carry on.
As I read this.
Dang, boys are worried. That's good news.
Let's stick the landing right here.
Out there and affecting these odds is increasingly the view that he will win the election.
And how much does it impact it that, it's the first year that you're seeing some of these betting markets in the United States?
Someone said in chat,
There's a lot of people
I'm feeling a little bit tense. That's fine. That's how it is on election night, especially. Trump wins Ohio.
John Stossel.
That was expected.
Markets predicted, probably market coffee and
The basket.
it's a basket. It's an
Let's see if we have any updates over here.
I am looking at some of the.
This is 2016. Oh, I mean, this is literally.
Interestingly enough, Donald Trump was panicking on Truth Social a few hours ago, and he's been relatively quiet since. He posted hours ago, Philadelphia and Detroit, heavy law enforcement is there. Since then, he's been relatively quiet. Of course, Donald Trump wins Louisiana, according to AP.
To see what they're going to say. Plus,
the question is, how much have these margins shifted over the past few years? As we start to get more and more granular data, we can see
but they were still asking their donors
if Kamala has increased on Biden's margins.
And obviously he wasn't.
I love this clip right here of Fox
Man, guys.
Mark Robinson, and you can hear Brett Baier is like, Brett Baier is so sick of Mark Robinson. He's like, it wasn't going to be close. We're going to call it now.
Returning to those races, Fox News can project that North Carolina's Democratic Attorney General Josh Stein will defeat Republican Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. A lot of controversy in that race. It's not close now. We're making that call.
It's not close now. We're making that call. Very matter of fact, Brett Baier is sick of Mark Robinson.
playing off of Dana's point.
But I do think after
All right, so they're nervous, guys.
she asked for another.
Um,
And by the way, guys, for everybody worrying, I just want to show you, just so you guys know.
let's hear
If
this.
we look at this map,
You would have thought because she did well there.
if we reset the map completely, they automatically have 226 for Kamala and 230 for Republicans. We only need to win 3 states to win the entire election, and these 3 states are oftentimes correlated. So if Kamala Harris wins Wisconsin, she will very likely win Michigan and Pennsylvania. These states have not split in their vote since 1988, when Michael Dukakis won Wisconsin, but not the other 2. So if Kamala Harris can win these 3, that puts her at 270. She just needs these 3. Now the scary part about that is Donald Trump would have 268 electoral votes at that point. So it would be 268 to 270. But at that point, Kamala Harris would have won the Electoral College with the blue wall states. If the blue wall states can come through, then we are good. Again, Ruben Gallego has been called as the winner. Mark Robinson has been called as the loser. Thank God.
A conversation about a Congress. They'll be curious, Sean, if the Democrats win the
I think this guy's a little bit on the feminine
Let's see how many
side.
viewers we have. I haven't been able to check.
The House does the president and the Senate does the vice president. So you're going to end up with President Trump and Vice President Harris.
All right, PA, what do we got going on in Pennsylvania, boys? We need it.
Harris is currently estimated to win the popular vote by 1 percentage point, but I'm sure that will go up as we get more data coming in.
And how it tracks with the raw vote and what we're seeing.
Oh, Lord, come on. We need
Okay, live. Let's go. How is everybody doing? Just so you know, the Adam Mockler channel is very, very close to 700,000 subscribers. If everybody watching this right now subscribed, we would be there. I'm currently at 696, maybe even 97. Very, very close. 15,000 watching live. Welcome to all my friends. Kamala wins Virginia. Ruben Gallego. Dean Withers says Florida is effed. Lucas Battle says, I don't like that they start with the states that don't agree with me. Yeah, it makes me.
All right, so anyways, they're a little worried. Trump won Texas. I just heard Trump won Texas.
This is also telling another story.
Let's watch this.
Monty, you were asking about this. This is what we're seeing in Pennsylvania. Obviously, they've been courting those voters on the ground there. This is almost identical. The margin that she's leading by, Joe Biden led by this over Donald Trump in 2020. So not a lot of movement there.
All right, Trump's up to 195, boys. 195.
I can also report to you, Martha, right now that Donald Trump, is leading by more with the black voter in Pennsylvania than he was in 2020.
It's the big numbers.
Yeah.
Good call, mate.
Shoo-wee.
Can now project that Donald Trump will win the state of Ohio 54.2% to 45%. So obviously that was what was anticipated in the early polling. He was ahead by about 8 points. This is a 9-point stretch, so a little bit higher than.
She'll get California, so that'll be a big jump.
But a solid win for him in what used to be a swing state, but hasn't been for quite some time.
And obviously, there's 54% of the vote in. But as you look at the Electoral College, 195.
Come on, we gotta get
Again, Ohio,
North Carolina and PA, or Michigan, Wisconsin.
And now it ticks on. Obviously, we're looking at these battleground states. One of them, Sean Hannity, it seems, is Virginia. You just got a message from the guy.
I've been communicating with Governor Youngkin, and the last text, at one point I said, so it's not in reach. He just said, hold on, really tight. Exact quote from Glenn Youngkin. Here's what's interesting. All night I'm looking for an answer to the question about turnout in Philly and the suburbs of Philly. We talked earlier about.
Yeah, I did just see that he was up in Wisconsin.
That's one part of the population. But the vote lead was 700,000 below what they were in 2020. So they have a lot of ground to make up. From the Trump campaign, now take it, this is what they're saying. They believe this is going to be a tourist
Louisiana
in Pennsylvania, in as much as they don't even think Harris got 200,000 of the 700 that she needs to make up. Those are the numbers that they are saying. Now, if that is true, that would mean African-American turnout did not appear.
Maine. He's up in Maine.
And secondarily, any other vote they thought, the union vote, workers are not going her way either in Pennsylvania. Anecdotal, that's their side, but I'm telling you what they're thinking.
That raises obvious questions. You know, if you're Joe Biden at the White House right now, sitting at home, you're thinking, I'm spitting Joe, and I have this great relationship with the unions all these years. And if she does end up, and we just want to
She got Maryland.
For a lot of data to come in here. He's shaking his head and saying, I could have.
It's just interesting that they're analyzing this data like we all are,
Yes.
and that is their take on it. I'm sure the Harris campaign, for the better part of the night, I was hearing from
Come on, baby. Come on, Trump. You can pull this off.
And I was hearing from them, huge turnout in Philly, And I said, tell me, where's the turnout? Could never get an answer.
Right.
And so finally, now the answer is beginning to come in. And that would be the Trump war room, that would be the Mar-a-Lago crowd. Their degree of confidence is going up minute by minute.
All right, so in Michigan, they're at 11% in. Trump's 44%. She's 53%. I like to see that. Because usually the blue, like, they're voting blue first.
My communication resembles yours. I don't have a lot of that either. I think these numbers are concerning. The number that Sandra is raising on the other side there, combined with what you just said, Sean, is room for concern in both Virginia and Pennsylvania. So I've not heard anything either.
Okay, the polls are closed in battleground Wisconsin. We're going to check in there on the ground with senior
See what we got going on in old Wisconsin.
learning about some issues with more than a dozen tabulation machines. What's that about, Mike?
More than a dozen tabulation machines and 31,000 ballots, and as a result, the city put out an all-call for volunteers. So they've got firefighters, healthcare workers, and IT workers all showing up here to help with the retabulation of those 31,000 ballots. Now, the
Of course we have problems.
These tabulation machines, there are 13 of these tabulation machines here at Central Count. If you look close in the back of the machine, there are stickers on the back of the machine. Those act as the seal. The seals were in place according to city officials and election commission officials, but there's a locking mechanism there as well. A Republican observer noted that the locking mechanisms had not been engaged. First, we were told on one machine, then some of the machines, then all 13 machines. 31,000 ballots in question. The city says they believe the integrity of those votes was never compromised.
Look at Wisconsin, guys. Trump's up 60%. 38 to 60% in Wisconsin. Hell yes. Come on, Trump.
We expected to get final numbers somewhere around 1 or 2 a.m. The city now only says it's going to be later than that. The city wants to pass this off as an abundance of caution, or a very cautious move. Republicans are upset about it. The RNC chairs.
Dang, guys, if we take Wisconsin, look, he just went up 76,000 to 55.
Wisconsin officials are here to try to get some questions answered. Right, Martha?
We're all night in Milwaukee. Thank you, Mike. So the Fox News decision desk can now project that Vice President Harris will.
I appreciate it, Christopher. This is just real life, man. Like, I'm one of the...
270, that makes it Trump 195, Harris 113 at this hour. We have another call to make as well.
In a key governor's race, Fox News can now project that Republican...
I like my channel. I have to unsubscribe to your channel. All right, Robert. I'm sorry, brother. I'll see you later. That sucks. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, bro. This is America, baby. I hate to lose you. I really do. When you grow up, come on back.
America is watching. Democracy 24. Your freedom, your vote.
Robert got to understand, I got kids to take care of and big trucks to buy. We like big trucks around here, and I can't buy them under this administration.
Lord, to you we entrust our communities, our leaders, our...
Guys, y'all are so respectful, giving him a good way out.
We give it all up to you.
I love how supportive y'all are.
Jesus, we trust in you. Amen.
We got to take care of the haters, that's for sure. Whoa!
Your safety is the only thing that matters. We designed smarter ways to detect motion for fast emergency response. We create HD cameras so you can see what's happening at home from anywhere. All powered by fast.
Oh, Lordy.
Exclusively from SimpliSafe for faster police response. Get SimpliSafe today with no contract.
Chip, come here. I ain't never met you before. Come here, Chippy. Come here, Chippy Chip. Come on, buddy. What are you doing? What you doing? Holly does not like me playing with Chip.
Have been in an accident, but Carfax shows how accidents impact price, so they don't have to overpay. I'm boss. Ooh, accidents. Shop the all-new Carfax.com. What is the done?
Oh, guys, I do have some news on Dad. I forgot to tell y'all.
How'd you figure that out?
Good boy. So Dad went. He's got to wear his heart monitor for. Wow, New Mexico. I ain't believing that.
DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine.
So Dad's got to wear his heart monitor for 3 months. He has to have surgery. He has buildup behind his chest. I think they call it like bird disease or something. So he has to have surgery on that. They're going to move some of the buildup, calcium buildup, and then he will be wearing a heart monitor for like 3 months, and then, but we do have a plan now. We are moving in the right direction. They found out pretty much what's going on. It's not cancer. He's got a good, strong heart. Just got some buildup, and I'm just, I don't know. I miss having my dad around, honestly. I'll tell you what, him being gone for the last 3 weeks has been, I mean, I didn't realize just how much me and my dad do together until he's just not around.
Ted Cruz will have another third term, and he was defeated.
Ted Cruz, babe, man, they spent so much money. All Reds spent so much money to beat him, too.
Some discussion that maybe Ted Cruz might lose his seat.
Guys, as much money as they spent on this election, it is insane.
A ton of money into that race. Colin Allred was a good candidate.
Absolutely, good debater.
Minus being in Texas.
He was. I'd say he fought for it. Let's see. We got some text messages over here.
47 to 37. Again, West Virginia has already flipped. Majority at 51. We're looking at states like Ohio, the Sherrod Brown race, Montana, the John Tester race, as a possible flip in the U.S. Senate. Brooke Taylor is at the Cruz campaign headquarters in Houston. Check in with Brooke. Good evening.
Good evening. I could tell you some behind-the-scenes info right now. We have Fox News playing on both screens right now. The crowd right now going wild because we just threw up the race and we have Cruz again with that strong lead. So everyone here is very excited, but I could tell you from talking to the Cruz campaign that they have been taking this
All right.
extremely seriously.
First time I've ever been called an old man before.
Deep red state. A Democrat has not won an election here in 30 years, so since 1994. But again, since 2018, Democrats have really seen an opportunity to possibly.
Pennsylvania, where we at?
We saw it with Beto O'Rourke. Cruz won by just 3 points, and Cruz's campaign hoping to have a real win here. They are not going to make that mistake. They are going to take this extremely seriously. But again, the crowd here going wild.
I really thought Pennsylvania would go all red. I really did.
Okay, Brooke.
I mean, you would think they would have went all red over there.
Who is at a honky tonk in Nashville.
Of course he is.
Of course he is. What else do we find him?
All right, she got Rhode Island.
We are the mothership calling Pete Hackett at the honky tonk.
All right, North Carolina called it. I just seen somebody say that. Thanks, Mike Green. I appreciate that, brother. Everything helps.
And the crowd here is psyched because you're now on the TVs here in the bar as well. I'm here with
South Carolina. Let's see.
Tommy there. We just had Kid Rock himself. So while you're at home watching the returns on Fox, and everybody's watching you guys, and you're doing a phenomenal job, pull up Fox Nation on your second screen and have a party with us. Because I'll tell you, the vibes here on the ground, we're talking to voters today too, this feels a lot like the 2016 vibes as you see the results coming in. You can tell the crowd here, pretty psyched. happening in this election could be a very good night for Donald Trump. I can't hear you, but I love you.
I heard Kamala paid all the actors that come on.
We're back with our panel. Britt Hume, Dana Perino, Herb Ford Jr., Kaylee McNamee, Sean Hannity.
She paid all them actors and stuff, them movie stars, millions of dollars to come out there and say what they wanted her to say.
So they're saying that
Cody, I appreciate it, brother. Thanks.
Yeah, I was looking at it too. One thing to keep in mind.
Man, I'm sorry to hear about your dad. That sucks.
Is you got to remember how they count the votes, right? You know, they start processing at 7 a.m. this morning. All that's mail-in stuff too, and that's the vote that's put out first. And so I want to do something funky and fancy here, guys. So just bear with me, because I'm going to try and find Pennsylvania in 2020. Okay, this is important. It's important for us to understand. It's important for our analysts to know. Understand. It's important for the audience to understand at home. This is 4 years ago in Pennsylvania, okay?
All right, we're listening.
This is just a 24-hour span from November 3rd into November 4th, from 8 p.m. to 8 p.m. the following day. And the vote that count that came in here, right, heavily blue, well over 70%. And then around 11 p.m., you get across the line, and that's where the Republican votes started coming in for Trump. Then you went well past midnight, and Trump maintained his margin for almost the entire day on Wednesday. And then if you went further off this map, you see where eventually the bars there cross the other way for Joe Biden, okay? So with that in mind, okay, we're going to show you Pennsylvania, and we'll try and digest all this together now. I haven't looked here in some time. You only have a quarter of the vote in now, okay? So at least 75% is still out. And you see a lot of blue in the areas where Kamala Harris needs to do well, namely Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, and namely Philadelphia, what they call the collar counties around Philadelphia. But the argument for this hour is that there's a strong Democratic vote in that batch that's now been counted, okay? There's two counties in Pennsylvania that you watch because they are bellwethers and they are flippers too, okay? One is Erie along the border here in New Jersey. One is Erie up there in Lake Erie. This is Northampton here in the east, okay? Northampton is one of these counties that flipped last time around, right?
Nice to see we still have Americans around us. Yes, sir, Dennis, for sure.
The other one is Erie that I mentioned a moment ago. Okay, this is
What time is it here? It is. What time is it, Brax? 9:30?
There is some of this vote that may lend itself to some of the confusion with the early vote being tabulated from the mail. I don't know. I can't vouch for that. I'm not sure what's going on there. We're going to watch it less than 0.5%. Yeah, that's right. So it's like 0.5% of the votes now being tabulated. That's why we can't get the 1% there in Erie County. But in all likelihood, you're going to see the T start to form here in Pennsylvania, and the T is going to be all red. And we're going to see what happens on, both sides of the state. They're going to be blue. The question is, how blue will they be? So we'll watch that here. You guys had mentioned Virginia. We'll just pop on down here because it seems like there's a pretty good race going on right now.
All right, we're heading Virginia.
Up to his margin here. All right, so we got about a 2-point lead statewide. Too soon to call, I should say, with more than half of the vote in. Here's where you need to look. All right, this is Washington, D.C. This is Fairfax County, #1 populated county, all of 133. There's 40% of the vote that has not yet been tabulated into this, okay?
Biden, sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, what's that?
Where was it for Biden? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll show you. I sure will. So a lot of that 40% outstanding is going to go for Harris, but we just don't know how much in the most populated county, okay? So go back 4 years. This is 2020. This is Joe Biden, it's 70%. Okay, so Kamala Harris, she has time to make up for that, given the fact that that vote is still out. And I would say, just looking at Georgia a moment ago, Fulton County looks to be somewhat similar. And the reason is, I'm going to explain this to you, okay? Fulton County is the most populated county in the state of Georgia. They're getting a lot of Democratic votes from out there, all right? She's up by 46 points, all right? Pretty good margin. 202,000 raw votes, okay? So 4 years ago with Joe Biden, he won the county with 242. His margin on the percentage basis was a bit higher, about 2 points. 242,000 in states 4 years ago. Sorry, excuse me. I apologize. Let's go statewide here.
That's slow tux. Be careful on your first one. Benjamin, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Go Trump.
But for the sake of the audience,
Georgia, 52-47.
Georgia in 2020. Wow, look at this. Okay, again, we've taken a 24-hour period from 4 years ago. Blue is the Democratic vote, obviously red is the Republican vote. And you see all this, at 7 o'clock, boy, it was all over the place, okay? And then in the 8 o'clock hour,
Come on, guys.
took a lead there. And then the margins started to close overnight around 3 a.m. The lines moved and they moved and they moved several days until finally we reached that margin of 12,000 votes.
I'm really hoping this ain't going to be no 2 or 3 day event. I hope it's over quick.
The difference would be that was the COVID election, and that was a lot of mail-in votes, and that was not the same early vote for Republicans, right?
I would argue
President Gentry, baby, 2028. I like it.
keep in mind is how states report it. Yeah, and Pennsylvania is really getting
Iowa? What?
heavy blue.
How is that even a...
Some would argue mirage.
I don't believe that.
And we'll see whether or not that mirage is real throughout the night.
Oh, 1% in. No wonder. Okay. All right, makes sense.
There'll be some exceptions to this. Does it appear to you that she is underperforming Biden nearly everywhere?
It's a great question, Britt. This is just anecdotal. I'll answer the best way I can. I've been poking around all over this map. I can find some good news for her by a point here, a point there. I can find a lot of good news for him, point here and a point there. But it seems where the areas where she is gaining the most is where the votes are. And the areas where he's gaining the most is the area that he targeted, and that's the rural area. Whether or not you can extrapolate that over...
Yeah, I've actually been to Gentry, Arkansas.
Place like Hall County, 72%, right? Banks County, 89%. Now, the problem for him is that that's 94 out of 159. But I could move along the northern border of Georgia, and, it's just, it's dominating, 81.
How does it compare to 2020?
I'll show you that next here. Look at that. I mean, that's 86. Now, 2020, the same counties I'll go in reverse, all right? 84, still impressive, right? 81.
And what is it now?
82 right now. So this is Fannin County. There's about 14,000 votes in that county alone. 14,000, okay? Now, if you take that and extrapolate it over 159 counties, you can certainly add up. So to answer your question, Britt, 4 years ago, Fannin County was 82, and this year he's at 80. Still 25% of the votes still out, so he's got a chance to be a point or two better. But right now, he's not meeting the number that he hit in that rural county 4 years ago.
We're going to make a quick call, and we'll come back to the board.
I don't know, guys. Come on, Trump. Pull it out for us. Pull it out. Guys, thanks so much for the helping us out on the channel. This might be my career after tonight. YouTube might be my career. What do you think about it, B-Man? What do you think, boy? Huh? Oh, I'm about to mess that kid up. I'm really feeling it. Really feeling like I need to mess him up. Guys, anybody else been having chest congestion? Woo!
As far as the U.S. Senate goes, we're still on track. There's a one pickup for Republicans.
When are they going to decide who's president? I don't know. It could go on for days. It could be over tonight. Yeah, I don't know if it's because the weather changed. Oh, yeah. This is the good stuff here, boys. I'm getting old. Got chest congestion and some GERD, I guess you call it. Heartburn. New Hampshire just got called for Kamala. The commie.
And let me say this. This is, I think, should be discussed, hasn't been
implications for the Republican Party moving Florida. And that is the fact that the Republican Party has lost every pro-life ballot initiative post-Dobbs until tonight, and Florida.
This is Braxton's fault if we lose. Just letting y'all know.
And the difference was you had a leader, you had a governor, Governor DeSantis, who owned the issue, who talked about the issue, who was out on the air
Hey, bro.
on the issue. And I'm told by some sources,
You open this for me?
initiatives happening across the country. They're hopeful in Nebraska. Why? You have to keep Ricketts lean into the issue. So that might be a lesson that's instructive moving forward to the party. You've got to speak on this issue because hiding from it thus far has not worked.
Let's just say this, Trey, that both of these candidates at this hour still have a path to 270. It is wide open. There's a number of different ways to go. Who would you rather be right now?
I'd probably rather be him because she is underperforming where Biden was in states that are very close. I'm also watching the Senate because what does it profit a person to win the presidency if you don't have the Senate to get your cabinet? Nebraska is interesting to me. Who is he going to caucus with if the independent wins? I don't think he will, but who will he caucus with? Because if Donald Trump wins the presidency,
All right, I'm back. Who did I vote for, man? I don't want to say. I might lose a lot of followers on here. Who did you vote for, Brax?
I'm going to make a prediction.
I went to my papa's graveside today, though, and talked to him about who he was voting for.
As I sit here and listen to
He ain't been able to watch the news.
And I am talking to people that know their states as well as anybody. I think the finest numbers, people, finest sources. I don't think it will be very long until you call North Carolina for Donald Trump. I think Georgia will immediately will follow thereafter. Then we would be at a point. I also believe Arizona is baked in. Immigration was a big issue out there. That now means that would bring us to a point.
Yeah, guys, we got a shipment in today. We got 14 owning generators in today.
Okay, but if that's true, that means she would have.
What? How many pallets generators you get today? 3, 4? 3 brand new ones.
And Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I don't think she can do it.
So with that prediction, we're going to take a quick break. The race to 270 continues after this.
All right. Well, guys, I'm sure y'all know who I voted for. I mean, any sensible, smart American or anybody. I mean, I really do want to run for president one day. I'm not going to say that I won't one day. Y'all get to find out all my skeletons in my closet, I reckon.
Good Ranchers is delivering American-sourced proteins the way it used to be, from farm to family.
Over 30% of the food sold in grocery stores goes to waste.
Oh, if I was to win, I'm telling you right now, we'd be... Gosh, I'd love it. I'd love to be president and show the world what real Americans should live like.
You need while reducing waste.
Visit GoodRanchers.com and discover American Wheat Delivery.
Heck yeah, boys.
Starting at 5 a.m., Lawrence, Steve, Ainsley, and Ryan bring us all the latest after election.
That's awesome. Kevin said his Democratic mother voted for Trump. That is so awesome. Well, guys, I must say I'm very proud of someone that works for me that is a registered Democrat that voted Republican.
It made us feel isolated.
It became difficult to communicate with our friends and family.
Clear Captions was an easy solution for us.
Clear Captions provides captions on a phone like captioning on your TV, so you can see what the caller is saying live as they say it.
Making it easy to understand and respond immediately.
There is no insurance or Medicare required.
What channel is what, brother?
This is provided at no cost to you through a federally funded program. We deliver, install, and train you on how to use your phone, all at no cost to you.
Give your loved ones the independence and connect.
I mean, from the look of it right now, guys, I might just run for president. I like them laughing faces. Real cute.
1-800-275-1095. I got this $1,000 camera for
only $41 on Deal. Deal.com, online auctions since 2009. This PlayStation 5 sold for only 50 cents. This iPad Pro sold for less than $34. And this Nintendo Switch sold for less than $20.
I got this KitchenAid stand mixer for only $56. I got this barbecue smoker for $20.
You know, the only reason the Democrats don't like Trump is because he ain't a Democratic nominee. If he would have went Democrat, I guarantee you, every dang one of them, they'd be the party of the century.
Because nothing that has happened so far is shocking at this point. Most of it, we're watching Virginia and we're waiting for North Carolina. But some of this has laid out in a way that is not unpredictable. But let's look at Pennsylvania for a moment here and see how Pennsylvania is shaping up at this hour. And you see you've got a 47 to 52 percentage. And I'm trying to see the percentage that is in right now in Pennsylvania, 32%, thank you. So we're waiting for a lot more vote to come in Pennsylvania. And what we're hearing is it's not surprising. The order.
Crime Wave, where's the proof, bro? Send it to me in email.
The red team, at least at this point. There's Wisconsin, 47.9 to 50%, and Wisconsin has 23% of the vote in. Also expected to be a tight race. They have both spent a ton of time there.
I know, Casey, that would be awesome.
Don't talk too much about yet. We're going to look. We'll get the show on the board. What Michigan looks like, 14%.
We need some states, baby. We need some states. Come on. I wish I was a counter. We get this crap done quicker.
It's just outside Detroit, Michigan. We'll start to get a feel for what's going on in this part of the blue wall. Hi, Brady.
Hey, Martha. Yeah, so we're expecting an update from Michigan's top elections official very shortly, but what we know from her updates throughout the day so far is that turnout on election day has been very strong here in the Wolverine state, and when combined with early voting, it's quite possible that it sets a new record, the previous record set in the last presidential election
Get him, Holly.
2020. And like most of the battleground states, this is going to be a story of rural turnout versus urban turnout, but there's an interesting storyline playing out in the Detroit suburbs, particularly in the Dearborn area, in the Arab American community. The Trump campaign has really been targeting that community, trying to get them to either vote.
All right, we got 14% in Michigan. She's up 52-45.
We've talked to Arab Americans who are casting their ballots for Green Party candidate Jill Stein, somebody you probably haven't heard mentioned much, but who could be a spoiler candidate. We also know that many Arab Americans are going to sit out this election entirely, which could tip the scales in favor of former President Trump. We're also watching the Senate race here. Mike Rogers, the Republican candidate, spoke to the crowd. He says it's going to be a nail-biter and probably a very late night. Brett, Martha, back to you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. You know, there's some Democrats saying North Carolina is on the edge. I don't think they're fully agreeing with Sean, and they still may make T-shirts. But
I'm not only saying North Carolina. I am saying North Carolina.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it.
Donald Trump tonight, and I am as confident in that prediction as any I've ever made.
Wow. Okay. Bill, how we're tracking that? Are we backing that up on the wall?
You know, I tell you what, Sean, if in the end you're right about that here in North Carolina, I showed you this county last hour, right? This is Anson County. Up to 47% African American population.
Look, so think about North Carolina. These are all border towns.
Well, something just
all these.
First time since 1876 in North Carolina, and a Republican.
The only thing they voted for in North Carolina, or that's in right now for North Carolina, is Raleigh, Charlotte. Everybody knew those were going to be, especially Raleigh. We knew this was going to be blue.
You guys mentioned the blue wall. Let's go ahead. We're moving toward the central time zone. We're talking about Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I can show you a lot of stuff right now, okay? But this is anecdotal stuff and just the data points that I'm seeing on the map, okay? When you go to Wisconsin, all right, you have to look.
Dang, Mama D's getting a G-Wagon.
Wisconsin. In the midterms, they had more than 85% voter turnout in one county, okay? You're going to get a ton of Democratic votes out of here, okay? You're just about halfway into it right now, and you see the margins. But I was poking through this and looking at Milwaukee. Now, there's a lot of votes out there, okay? You only got 25% coming in right now. Kamala Harris has almost 66%. So this is where Joe Biden finished. Same county, same city 4 years ago. He was almost at 70%. Right now, she is underperforming in Milwaukee. So you have to ask yourself,
You know, that little pattern you saw back there in that rural county in North Carolina, is it repeating itself in some of these bigger cities? Now, is Detroit, you know, right now Detroit, Wayne County's red. We don't expect it to stay that way, but that's one of the things you look at as well. This is Washtenaw County. That's Ann Arbor, University of Michigan. You expect to get a good number here. That's another county to watch as well. And then let's flip over here and just complete the blue wall. Because this is where we are right now in Pennsylvania. Remember, we showed you how the mail vote, heavily Democratic, is put out first. And we still think we're probably seeing a lot of that right now in this composition. But let's go ahead and look now. Let's look at the vote difference in Pennsylvania.
Lordy, lordy. All right, I think we're.
To the year 2000, okay? So you have
Lord.
6 presidential races to look at. For so long, this was not even a battleground. It was heavily Democratic. When you think about what Barack Obama did in 2008, look at that. I mean, that's 10 points. It's off the map. Romney was able to cut it in half, and so the state came back a little bit toward the Republican Party. It really wasn't until 2016 when Donald Trump won the state by just less than a point. Let's look at the vote difference now for Michigan. Very similar, maybe not as extended, okay? Some would argue more Democratic in Michigan. All right, but that was the difference in 2016 for Trump, 0.2 percentage points, you know, and you see where Obama was. That was not contested. Look at the vote difference down in Wisconsin. Very similar. Blue, but not...
Man, this is way. I really would have thought it was just going to be a real quick, easy election night, honestly. Because I just think there are that many dumb people in this world. And I don't like to talk crap about people, but dang.
Look what happened. You see Donald Trump in 2016, it's just by a nose he was able to win. And then when it went back to Biden in 2020 again, it was super tight, okay? All those
Yes, Dad got some answers. I'll explain it again here in just a few.
have been decided by less than a point.
Come on, guys, let's get some likes up.
In the land of cheese heads. Let's go ahead and clear this right now, okay? Bill, can we go to Wisconsin? Yeah, we sure can. Because, go ahead. You want to see how this is shaping up? I mentioned Dane a moment ago, and I also mentioned Milwaukee. Sean Duffy, one of our colleagues, former congressman for the state of Wisconsin, when he ran for Congress, all this area here was blue, okay? And when he went to Washington, it all flipped, it all became red, and it stayed that way. It's been a source of political strength and power for Donald Trump, and we'll see whether or not that remains the case right now. All right? Just so you know, we're just about the 30% mark in Wisconsin, and Kamala Harris has a slight lead there by about 3 points. This is where it ended, as I showed you out there on the map, right? 20,682 raw votes 4 years ago. So if I were to come to 2024, what am I looking at? I'm looking at Dane. How about Sauk and Kenosha? Yeah, Sauk is right here. Sauk is pretty interesting here because, you know, you start to see a little more population growth.
Here we go. We're actually getting there.
Again, this is Kennedy. He popped up in Michigan. He's going to pop up in Wisconsin all night long. Trump has a lead here. Let's just go ahead and see. Half of the vote in here in Wisconsin. This is where it finished. I find that interesting. What about you? Let's find Kenosha down.
This is the swinging state. I mean, I spent some time there on 2 recall elections.
I mean, it's extraordinary. And we don't think about it that way. But it's true. Anyway, this is Kenosha, but yeah, fast forward. You got it. You got about half the vote in. Trump's just shy of 58%. Okay, so he's overperforming now in Kenosha as well. I can keep going if you want, so call it out, guys, if you like. Sorry?
Milwaukee, is that what it's called?
Yeah, so the Wow counties here, they have been solid Republican forever, you know, but not during the Trump years. They got softer and softer, and they're...
I've seen a couple people in comments saying Trump just hit 210. What else did he take?
Waukesha, excuse me. And then you get into Washington, and then you get into over in the lake is Ozaki here. So let's see what we're doing right now. Trump at 53.5. All right, comparison point, 2020. Okay, so a little bit under right now in that suburban county north of Milwaukee. Let's pop on over here to Washington and see what we're doing. 70% is an impressive percentage.
4 years ago, what'd he do? So a little bit better right there in Washington County. Then we'll move over here. This is the most populated of the three, Waukesha, just west of Milwaukee, just shy of 60% raw votes, shy of 40,000 from 4 years ago. Okay, all right, so he ended up with 55,000.
All right, come on.
So he either has some space to make up, or he's not going to get to the number from.
NBC's showing Trump at 210, so he must have took North Carolina or.
My favorite county in all of Wisconsin, maybe my favorite county in the entire map this year, right here. You know what this is, Brett? Door County. It's Door County, okay? And why do we talk about Door County? First of all, you don't want to be there in the winter, okay? Because it's cold and it's frozen, but the summertime it's got to be beautiful. Half the vote in, Trump has an edge here. 4 years ago, you see what happened here. Biden won, all right? Go back to 2024. Let's go statewide. Watch all the map go into play here, okay? This is a flipper county in Wisconsin, all right? The shade of blue is just very slight, okay? So it shows you how close it was. So we'll keep an eye on it because sometimes those are the bellwethers statewide.
Come on, baby. Let's get there. What are you doing, Pups? All right, I'm seeing a lot of people saying he's at 210.
This is going to be an area that is going to probably tell the story of this election, that in the Sun Belt, of course. So we're getting close to 10 o'clock, right around the corner. That is when we will get full closings in Utah, Montana, and Nevada. This is our special coverage.
Whew.
High gear, and the electoral count continues to load in. 195 for Trump, 117 for Vice President Harris.
Even Newsmax is showing 210 as well.
Together. Like your workplace benefits and retirement savings. Presentation looks great. Thanks. Lawyer provides
Australia, go ahead and fill us in. Who wins?
so you can reach today's financial goals. That one. And look forward to
It is very nerve-wracking. I will say that.
One dynamic duo. Oh yeah. Well planned, well invested, well protected.
All right, everybody's saying he's won North Carolina. Let me go check this out.
Stop crime in real time.
All right.
Stop. This is Simply Safe. Maybe Simply Safe and I can work together.
Unlikely.
There's no saying like Simply Safe.
Before Electoral chewable for allergic itch, giving dogs pills was a battle of wits.
Oh, Maria, I wanted your foolish game.
Is it gone?
Totally gone.
Itch relief just got easier. Apoquel, the trusted #1 treatment for allergic itch, is now available in a tasty chewable that works in a day.
Do not use in dogs with serious
All right, I'm seeing a lot of he got North Carolina.
parasitic skin infestations or pre-existing cancers and serious infections. New neoplasias have been observed. Do not use in dogs less than 12 months old.
Ask your vet for Apoquel chewable.
Do it.
I got this $1,000 camera.
I'm a gun over, and I believe we were protected Second Amendment law. Also passing gun safety laws. We need to reinstate the assault weapons ban and pass universal background checks, safe storage laws, and red flags laws to keep our children and communities safe.
Stand mixer for only $56. I got this barbecue smoker for $26.
And shipping is all.
Let's go check the DMs real quick to see what they're.
How much you can save.
I'm Tony Steve, digital strategist at AmericanEagle.com. Our clients have complex website and digital marketing needs. Baxter Mishka, a high-end fashion brand, needed to expand their online presence, reach new customers, and increase online sales. We solve digital challenges.
I'm getting the opportunity. I'm trying to keep the track too with the Midas Mighty chat.
I am not giving you a thumbs up.
You know, keep checking in with that blue wall check-in. What I'm continuously tracking here is that in Pennsylvania, Harris 52 to 48 right now with 35% in. Michigan, Harris 53 to 45 with 13%. Wisconsin 51 to 47 with 29%. So we're still continuously getting in these votes, you know, and there's been a couple of speculations here about the New York Times lending their opinion early that Donald Trump is going to be the likely winner because the New York Times are always correct. But what we need to continuously reiterate, which Anthony, you pointed out perfectly, is, you know, they almost want people to jump early, you know, to call early, to make these decisions so that it can present these ideas that his victory is almost inevitable, and anything that comes out to the contrary is clearly voter fraud or clearly lies. And that's why we have to be very careful. I'm not going to give you the kind of traditional media idea where they cannot wait to call these. They cannot wait to get that click, to get that graphic, that fancy chyron that they've got up on screen to say that this has been projected.
The Democrats are really freaking out right now. Maybe that's a good thing.
We want to be particular, and my laser focus is on those 3 states. And as far as what I'm giving in my kind of opinion here, and I always offer it with a pinch of salt based on the kind of my history, and this is my 3rd election now covering this, and what I've seen. It's just to be a little bit laser focused on, we don't need to spend as many hours talking about the areas that Donald Trump has already projected to win, even if they want to emphasize their victory in a specific county in Florida versus 2020. That's not where the focus is. The focus needs to be on our blue wall, and what we're looking at right now, there's nothing to panic in the moment.
I just heard that Trump's been called the winner of Missouri's 10 electoral votes. The AP's just called that. It's a red state, no surprises there. Democrats had hoped that
they called Missouri
cuts would be able to oust the Republican Senator Josh Hawley. Wouldn't that have been nice, eh? A key supporter of in the chamber of Trump's baseless claims of election fraud 4 years ago. So polls have shown him trailing Hawley, and though the race has not yet been called, he's not expected to win. But that's out of Missouri tonight.
Yeah, Missouri has definitely shifted, Brent. It used to be the state that wherever Missouri went, the country went. And that is hard to imagine these days. It's been solidly red for quite a few elections now, so not a big surprise. It looks
210, baby. We're at 210.
Results are good for Sherrod Brown, the Democratic senator, but the election day voting, which is usually Republican, is still coming in. And that's to your point about people calling the elections. I would say it really depends on the source. We are very quickly, and it's now 10 p.m.
Ashley is in bed. She was really stressed out over this. Before I got on live, I was in here throwing stuff and really stressed out.
Hispanic and working class voters obviously could be key to the victory there. Both of these candidates have spent a lot of time in Nevada.
Fox News can project that former President Trump will win the state of Utah, adding another 6 votes, electoral votes to his column. He'll also win Montana's presidential election. We're looking closely at that Senate race out there.
Utah and Montana.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the places that are too early to call.
How's the whole darn map turned red? And there's still a chance she can win. This is crazy.
For Harris, and waiting on Georgia, waiting on North Carolina, waiting on Pennsylvania, waiting on Michigan, and just keep in mind that in all these places, there's a lot of city vote, a lot of high population concentrated vote that has not come in yet. The question is whether or not that vote, when it does come in, will be enough to outbalance what we have seen in the early part of this vote here.
All right, we're leading Georgia, North Carolina, and we're close on Michigan and Wisconsin.
This time, he survived it before, but this time Republican former Navy SEAL Tim Gentry putting up a real fight and may win. The Fox News decision desk says it's too early to call there. Nevada also home, too early to call to this Senate race between incumbent Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen and Republican Army veteran Stan Brown.
And in Utah, Fox News is projecting the Republican Congressman John Curtis will move to the Senate. He succeeds retiring Senator Mitt Romney of Utah. Let's take a look at the balance of power as we pull up the Senate here and show you where we are.
I think we're at 48 on the.
Republicans now have 48 seats, including the West Virginia seat, which is a flip. Majority obviously would be 51. 38 seats on the Democratic side as we wait for a number of very consequential Senate races.
So we need 3 more to flip the.
Welcome to the panel, Laura Ingram, Sean Hannity is still here, Jesse Waters. Jesse, what do you think?
Well, this was a cannonball contest. Trump would be winning by a lot because of the huge splash in Florida. I mean, he beat Biden by 3, and now he's at almost 14 over Harris. That's a big statement right out of the gate. She has not had a big statement so far tonight. The other big splash, Virginia. Now, we don't know how Virginia is going to shake out, but Biden won Virginia by 10, and now it's tied. Obviously, it's too close to call, but
Right now, she's playing defense. The Trump team is very confident that Georgia and North Carolina are going to go their way. And Harris is going to have to play defense in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. You're hearing Trump doubling his black support in Wisconsin.
Oh, look how close Pennsylvania is now.
And in Pennsylvania, winning independence. And they say the math doesn't work.
We're ahead in Wisconsin.
Who knows what's going to happen? Still too early to call, but you definitely think the Trump team has momentum here.
Laura, Virginia, you were talking about.
God, we're close.
The big board about Virginia.
Whew, we're close on everything.
There you see.
We're ahead in Virginia.
48.3, 61% in. Too soon to call for us.
Well, this is wild. Remember, Trump didn't come anywhere near these numbers in 2016 or 2020. The Loudoun County numbers that we were talking about earlier are really something to watch. Trump is outperforming by 8 points in Loudoun County. It was a blowout in 2020. Big issue with education there. The other thing to look at, and Glenn Youngkin, have been in touch with him, he said, buckle up, Virginia's going to be very tight. Then go down to Miami-Dade, where we haven't seen a Republican take that county in Florida since 1988. Donald Trump is doing something tonight. The New York Times is noticing he's up at 287 electoral votes projected. Obviously, anything can happen, with a 72% chance of winning. Watch out for slowing vote reporting down in the blue wall states. It happened last time in 2020. And if by midnight it looks like Trump has a good chance to win and things start slowing down with reporting, I think you can't really blame people for being a little bit concerned about the way we do reporting in elections.
Yeah. I have more of a question actually for Laura, if that's okay, if it's permitted. On Loudoun County.
That's what I'm worried about. They're going to slow down at midnight, and then you know what's going to happen.
Is it the cultural issues? We've been having a little debate.
I think that the cultural issues cut through the new immigrant population in Loudoun County. There's an enormous influx of Indian immigrants.
He's up
Hispanic
in Virginia
immigrants, and
for
Muslim
sure.
Immigrants in Loudoun County. And if you talk to them, and some reporting's been done on this, a couple of issues of the gender curriculum, some of the trans issues, but also in general, just this idea that the new immigrants coming to this country want to be able to start small businesses and make a decent living. I think both issues are really hitting hard tonight.
In Loudoun County,
Come on, guys.
We think it might be fertile ground for Democrats almost in perpetuity because of where it is. It's in the exurbs of Washington, but it is very close to that huge number of people who work in the Dulles technology corridor. And that looks like the kind of place young.
I mean, they'll count all night, won't they, or do they quit?
Generally, to vote Democrat. And the fact that it seems to be going the way it is tonight is I think,
a lot of credit to Glenn Youngkin and obviously Donald Trump for the way that state was handled. They were smart to go there late in the game.
It's interesting to look at Virginia, and sometimes these things sort of take hold over a period of time, right? So Glenn Youngkin won his very close race.
We're still ahead in Virginia.
Really against Terry McAuliffe and Parents' Rights. But then in the midterms, Virginia did not get the seats that they wanted to get, and Youngkin was sort of trying to get them over that edge. So if this does, and we're, can't call it obviously yet, if it turns into a win for Trump tonight, it will be a very big
We have not called North Carolina.
We have not called it yet, but no Georgia.
I'm sure there are good reasons for that, but others have.
I understand.
Harold, do we know what's outstanding in
Let's just
Virginia?
talk to Bill Hammond because he's at the wall.
Yeah, I can do that for you. Don't mind me. This is Roanoke County. Why do I have that on the screen? That's Salem, Virginia. That's where Trump went for the rally the other day with Glenn Youngkin. Okay, so as you guys were talking here, all right, so this is part of our Fox Insights. Anytime we see an outline here, we go in, Loudoun County. We mentioned this, right? This is a 16-point advantage for Kamala Harris. You've almost got all the estimated vote in right now, and Trump's doing 3.4 points better now, with 98% of the vote reported, than he did in 2020. So that's pretty interesting. The other thing I would point out while I'm here is Fairfax County. All right, so you're almost at 2/3 of the vote in. This is where all the people are, right? Number one out of 133. Biden was an easy winner at 70% of the vote. So right now, across from Washington, D.C., she's underperforming in the most populated county in the entire state. Did you have something else there? You have a question? Gotcha. Okay, Carolina. Go ahead, guys.
Virginia, is that the biggest county, Fairfax County? Is there another big county out? Because the campaigns are saying they've got big votes still out of Virginia. They still believe that they.
I tell you what I'll do, Harold. I'll cheat for a second here. Go back to Virginia. It seems as if Kamala Harris is doing better in the southeastern part of than was expected. Okay, so there's still some vote out there, some still vote coming in, and we'll see whether or not that holds up. Let me zip on down to Carolina. And Britt, I think you said some folks had called Carolina already. We got about 70% of the vote in, and we got Trump up, almost 185,000 raw votes. And I don't know what's going on here. Why don't we just poke around some of the bigger counties? Okay, this is Wake, this is Raleigh. You got to look there, 3/4 of the vote in. She's got a firm lead down here in Mecklenburg and Charlotte. A firm lead yet again, but that is 80% of the estimated votes still yet to be tallied, so maybe that's the reason why we cannot call it. This is a flipper down here. This is New Hanover. You find Wilmington along the Atlantic shore. You've only got 5% of the vote in down there. This is one of those areas in the country that's turning more blue. You got a lot of transplants from the north.
How's it turn blue? It's all red.
Y'all's got a lot of folks from the northeast going into places like Brunswick County. Brunswick County is deep in the red. Donald Trump's going to win here tonight by 66% upwards of the vote down there. Got a lot of folks from New Jersey and New York and Pennsylvania. They're moving down to places like Brunswick County because they love the weather, they love the beaches, and it's not as expensive as Florida. They've seen an awful lot of growth in this part of the state. So here's where we are. Too soon to call, but Donald Trump right now up by almost 5 points in Carolina. Go for it, Martha.
Let's take a look at Pennsylvania, which is tightening up considerably, and in the presidential race and in the Senate race. Show us what's going on there.
You're exactly right about that. Okay, so there's about half of the vote being counted. Remember that chart I showed you a moment ago? The chart I showed you a moment ago? They count the mail-in vote first in Pennsylvania. It tends to be more Democratic. As we saw in 2020, we're seeing that again in 2024. All right, you got about a 1.4 margin there. Raw vote just shy of 50,000. So let's go for a spin, shall we? Philadelphia, let's start there. It is number 1. Come on. Let's go here. All right, here we go. This is the kind of margin you expect to get in Philadelphia. You got 8 or 9 out of 10 voters are Democratic, right? So Joe Biden.
Hell yeah, Daddy does need some money for some new projects.
It's interesting, right? So she's just a tick below that right now. Does Philadelphia vote the way that Milwaukee votes? Right? We saw that difference in Milwaukee a short time ago. Is Philadelphia going to vote differently than Wayne County and Detroit? We're waiting to get that in as well. These are the collar counties. They're heavily blue. I would expect them to change somewhat, but we'll see as we go through the night. Just to check the bellwether here. This is Northampton. That's about as close as you get, guys. Difference of 300 votes, 303. Biden barely won it by 1,200 just 4 years ago, so that's where we are at the moment.
What about Pittsburgh?
Allegheny County, let's see where we are. A lot of the
God, I'm about ready to just. Should have went to bed.
Okay, yeah, so you're 71 coming, that's right. And she's at 61%.
Watch this all night and be up all night long.
I mean, how many rallies did Trump have there? How many times did Kamala Harris go to the west side of Pennsylvania? This is a place I want to check out. I haven't done it yet. Let's find out together. This is Butler County. All right, where were you on July 13th? Here we go. We got 94% coming in, just shy of 66%. So how did Trump do in a rural county like Butler 4 years ago, before the assassination attempt, right, this past year? It was almost around the same number, okay? Up 36,000 to finish it 4 years ago. Right now, he's up 34,000 in Butler, PA.
Let me bring our prime folks in. Laura, what are you looking at?
Well, I just think it's interesting to look at these states that we kind of had looked past in our analysis. We'll always focus on the blue wall states, obviously so important, but signs that Trump might maybe outperform in ways that we hadn't expected. Bubbling up in places like New Mexico, where it's only 23% of the vote in, mind you, tons of votes outstanding, but he looks like he's outperforming there. He's up now 6 points in with that small turnout. Again, the New York Times gives him a 79% chance of winning this election at this point, with leaning North Carolina, leaning Republican in Georgia. If those trends continue, It's all those three states where it's neck and neck. Right now, it's neck and neck in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. So I hope they can model themselves in the future on what Florida has done so brilliantly with Ron DeSantis. 96% of the vote in, and it's handled beautifully with absentee, mail-in vote. I mean, they just seem to do it in Florida. Why can't we do it in these other states?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I mean, most of us grew up with, you voted in the morning.
Same day.
Parents voted, and then you went home and got the answer that night. We went from 96 million voters when Fox News started to 160 probably million tonight, somewhere in that neighborhood.
And by the way, all of them watched Brett's interview with Kamala.
Absolutely.
Nobody missed it.
Come on, baby. Come on.
How much has voting changed, I guess, is what I'm getting at here, Sean, because we have this enormous early vote of 83%.
It's so interesting you asked that question because everything's kind of flipped. Republicans went
Oh, yeah, I'd be running Republican.
That had never happened before. And it put the Democrats in a position mathematically where they have to accomplish something they've never accomplished before, and that is to get same-day.
Oh, I wish they'd just call Pennsylvania and North Carolina.
And this is where we now find it. If I am correct, and
They were going at it.
my sources are right, and North Carolina, I'm almost 100% certain will be Donald Trump's. And Georgia, I believe, Harold and I have been going back and forth on this, will go to Donald Trump. Now, Arizona has been trending very strong towards Donald Trump. I don't know how long it'll take them to count the votes out there. That is frustrating to Laura's point.
Well, to that point, Maricopa said
All right, Georgia.
that they were going to, it may take.
Okay. There were 2 pages in Florida, and they called it within an hour and a half. So, and that wasn't even an hour and a half.
Yeah, I'm just saying what they said.
So, all right, if we want to play out a few scenarios, if that turns out to be right, or Harold's going to wear Sean Hannity's long t-shirt, if I'm right, and North Carolina and Georgia go to Donald Trump, and I am confident based on the information, Dave McCormick's numbers guy just wrote me. Dave McCormick running for Senate in Pennsylvania.
Against Bob Casey.
Against Bob Casey, the incumbent, who's been running ads tying himself to Donald Trump in Pennsylvania, which I think is very telling. He's confident Donald Trump is going to win Pennsylvania tonight. That did not, and what the Trump team has been telling me, where they were up by 1.1 million, we went over these numbers earlier. Back 4 years ago, they were only up 400,000 going into today's voting, day of voting. In Wisconsin, you have a similar situation. A 40% difference, a 40% shortfall. So I'm looking at the big board and I'm watching the evergreen Bill Hemmer, and they needed numbers in Milwaukee that every source I know in Wisconsin is telling me they did not get today. And we're now in a situation where for Kamala Harris to have any opportunity to win, she's going to have to sweep that blue wall, those blue wall states. I don't see it. Do you see it?
I don't see it either. And if you look at Philadelphia, for instance, everybody was bragging this morning about how well turnout was in Philly. But if you look at Philly, South Philly is Italian. That's Pats, Geno's. They love Trump down there. Big Eagles territory, big Flyers. And then you go to the Northeast, that's Irish Catholic. Maybe Sean Hannity knows a few people over there. So they came out big for Donald Trump, but that might have been an explanation for those numbers to pop. But if you look at Pennsylvania broadly, they banked so much of the early vote, which they'd never done before. They don't think Kamala has enough right now in Philly and Pittsburgh to just overcome Trump's red county substantive lead.
Let me just put the caveat in there. Britt, we sat on an election desk in 2016.
All right.
And there was a betting odds that you were quoting that had Hillary.
Yeah, if you guys didn't get Bitcoin, if you didn't invest in Bitcoin today, you should have. You'd be rich tomorrow. I'm hoping to God that's my situation.
Pathway started to narrow. It was flipped. To Sean's
I'd like to make $1 million overnight. That would be awesome.
An early boost, and the question is what the day of vote's going to show.
I just seen on here somebody that said Bitcoin has exploded,
as we get,
and I know a lot of people that was invested today.
To figure out more ways that Trump could win, she had an hour of pass. And the betting odds, by the way, are now up to 83% for Trump, and started at 58%, and it's climbed all through the evening to 69.
I think you should have a green eyeshot.
I said, anyway, and other models are now predicting him well in these
Stock market futures are also getting higher as well.
I do think, just to go back to this Milwaukee point that we were talking about during the break, I mean, they are rerunning 30,000 absentee votes in Milwaukee tonight because they couldn't, there was a problem with the processing. 31,000 absentee ballots after the election observer brought to the officials' attention that doors covering on and off switches on the devices, I guess, some of them weren't tallying and they were worried about it. So just for integrity purposes, they're rerunning all those ballots. So we might not hear the full and final counting from Milwaukee until tomorrow.
AP Vodecast has Trump winning 23% of black men.
That's staggering.
Nationwide, I'm sorry to hear what you said.
Where's that from?
All right, guys.
And that has to be.
I'm going to say they're not going to call this tonight.
Just destroyed Donald Trump as a racist for all these years, and if you double the support with black
We might get to call North Carolina and PA. If they would call them two states, I'd feel.
And then run up the numbers with Jewish Americans here in the Northeast, that's a complete rejection of everything that they've been telling us about Donald Trump and would explain why he's very competitive in the popular.
And the news cycle for how long went on and on about the Seltzer poll in Iowa. Trump, it looks like he's going to win Iowa by 8 to 10 percentage points. Well, Seltzer. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like he was going to lose Iowa.
Herschel, I'm always coming up I-75. Shoot me an email and we'll talk.
Sure can. And this is, I want to come back to this. It's a fascinating story that's happening in Wisconsin, okay? So go ahead, Brett, with your question in Pennsylvania County. This is Lackawanna County. You got it. Let me come back to current day, right? It's 2024, isn't it, guys? Yeah, I do believe, okay. So, I'm kidding. So this is Lackawanna. This is Scranton. Okay, so she's got an edge. Go ahead. She's got an edge of 51%.
The 2020 vote for that.
Okay, I'm going to do something here. You're going to see a slide come out, all right? So you guys got to remember these numbers, all right? Versus 2020.
I don't know why they're bringing up 2020 numbers. It's a whole different situation. People were mail-in voting all in 2020. We had COVID to worry about, all that crap.
I'll show you guys something that I think we need to pay attention to. This is Wisconsin. All right, so you got your Fox Insights going here, okay? We talked about Dane, we talked about Milwaukee. What about Green Bay? That's Brown County, all right? Right now, with 46% of the vote reported, in Brown County, which is Green Bay, Trump's up 3.6 points at this time of the night, okay? Take this off. We'll move down here to Outagamie. All right, he's up 1.8 points higher than he was.
What do you think?
4 years ago. Take that off. This is
I broke it.
Right? Trump is up 1.3 points at this point in the vote, higher than he was.
Shane, that's awesome, brother.
And, you know, when you're analyzing the state going into this election, those are three of the counties you're looking at where he's trying to like drive the numbers up, and he's able to do that. And so this is where we sit, you know, half a point. And not for nothing, guys, but sorry, come on back here. Not for nothing. But Barbara Kennedy has racked up 8,000 votes in Wisconsin. And 2020 in Wisconsin, we'll get it here. Yeah, I got you. 20,682. Maybe it matters, guys, or maybe it doesn't, but it's just something to point out right now. When we come back, I'll take you to Michigan. Some things happening there as well. Fascinating, too. Back over there.
That's something to keep an eye on.
The 31,000 votes you talked about, Laura, you think they're going to count in the morning? That's in Milwaukee, right?
They're reprocessing them. They've begun to reprocess them, but there's no indication as to when that's going to finish.
Because they had problems with the machine.
There was a problem with this
Wouldn't it be something if we took California?
or something. It's hard to understand what would
Can I
happen.
ask you a question? You just gave me the latest numbers. I've been looking at the betting odds numbers that Brett was talking about. They have moved massively now
90%.
to Donald Trump. New York Times has it massively to Donald Trump.
91%.
To a point that Jesse, the needle, right?
Yeah.
So we're really sitting here, and I think we're going to take pause. There is a very strong possibility he will be elected the 47th president of the United States if these numbers, if these predictions end up being true. I don't want to get over our skis. We want to be careful.
Hell yeah, baby. I love to hear that.
We're all looking at our sources. I'm listening very closely to everything Harold has to say, what he's offering. But if that is true, after all that they have thrown at this man, after all that they have done to this man, and with all the media that wouldn't even vet her and her radical positions, that the only person in the media that challenged...
Guys, I think it's safe to say we're going to be calling President Trump president again. I really do. I got a good feeling about it.
I think she never had to answer why she doesn't think we should say radical Islamic terrorism, why she wasn't asked about supporting a bail fund, 574 riots in the summer of 2024, or co-sponsoring the Green New Deal, or saying no private health insurance, Medicare for all, or sex change operations for, illegal immigrants. What will this say, Brett, about legacy media in America? It's dead.
Well, the decline of its influence has been evident for years. This is proof of it. And in some respects, I think that the behavior of the legacy media backfired against the candidate they were supporting because it was so over the top. Same with the prosecutions. The same thing happened.
You think it all contributed to...
No, I do.
Yeah, I agree with you.
What do you got, Bill?
Got something?
I just punching up through Iowa. Everybody was talking about the poll.
All right, we got Iowa. It ain't.
That's correct. Until we get a little the back sheesh, right? 40%, and you got a 7-point lead for Trump. Okay, so I don't know what they were seeing in the poll. I mean, they're obviously seeing something out there in Iowa, but this is Trump pulling away. This is
as you bounce around.
Yeah, all good. This is Ohio, guys. Okay, 8 points in 2016, 8 points in 2020. 80% of the estimated vote is in. He's up more than 12 points in the Buckeye State.
Dana, even if we're not there yet. We're not calling these states. We're going to wait and see how this raw vote total goes. But you'd rather be him. The path is getting clearer for him right now. To Sean's point, even that he's here at this moment, from January 7th, 2021 until now, is probably the biggest political phoenix from the ashes that we have ever seen in the history of politics.
In the days after January 6th, I remember sitting, I think, with you, Brett, and I said, this guy, Trump, he's radioactive. Republicans have turned against him. They want rid of him. They want him. He's an obstacle. He's a problem. And I thought, no, I didn't think a political comeback by him was possible.
I would say.
And yeah, here we are. He's the toughest son of a gun I've ever seen. Ever. I mean, all he said thrown at him. I mean, I'd be in an insane asylum.
I think there's an interesting rhetorical trick you can always play with these things. When Sean says, think of all the things that they have done to him. And
I really feel good about it.
Right. He puts together this probably the most racially diverse political coalition we've seen in generations. But you could also say it is because of what they did to him. And it turned that around. It's not just in spite of it. Like, yes, he's a tough guy. He's
That's a great point.
energetic, but it could be because of
Overkill.
I think we shouldn't underestimate the importance of policy in all of this.
Absolutely.
The Trump agenda in 2019 delivered some of the most stunning economic gains to blue-collar workers, the people that we came from, that we had seen in 25 years, or maybe longer. So from the border to the economy to foreign policy and peace, that resonated with young people, with men, with this new demographic coalition. And I think it's not just the greatest political comeback of all time.
Wow.
If these trends continue, a big if, but if, it will be the greatest comeback, I believe, in history, because this man was counted out and called every name in the book. They want to put him in jail tonight. If they could, they would put him in jail.
And I hate to get ahead of ourselves, but if he does win and the numbers hold up, and the popular vote is what it is, he would have a mandate. He would have a diverse, winning coalition that he would then be able to govern with.
I got a good feeling about it. I really do.
But that mandate would have to be respected. So it would be.
Golly bum, Washington, D.C., Jesus. She really won there.
How's their posture going to be towards a seemingly very popular president who's had
50% Wisconsin's in.
Followed by the most controversial election, followed by the greatest comeback victory we've ever seen. So you shall see.
Yeah, so
I'm afraid we're.
The primes. I call you the primes now. 7, 8, and 9.
The Avengers.
Thank you very much.
You guys, great coverage.
Have fun. Fantastic. And we'll see you again. So much, guys.
That was great.
It was great.
The vote count is underway. More results coming in. We're tracking it all as Fox News Democracy 24 marches on.
I don't know, guys. Whew.
Election night on Fox News Channel is brought
Georgia just got called for Trump.
home security.
Hell yeah.
There's no safe like Simply Safe.
That's awesome.
Can you believe this, man? Everyone's getting that new Simply Safe outdoor monitor. Now they can help prevent crime before it even happens. How do we compete with AI-powered outdoor cameras?
I really have a good feeling about it.
Stop. This is Simply Safe. Police are on the way.
Whoa, I didn't even see those guys. So what about us now?
James, I would love to run for president.
There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Adam broke that.
This is our mercy. I won't let anyone take it. The epic return of Yellowstone. I can see it now. I know what to do.
There is no more.
Tell me you know you're a Kamala supporter. You just don't want to lose your subscriber. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big Kamala supporter here. Braxton probably run me out of the house.
Yellowstone. Watch on Paramount Network this week.
The votes are in. The next president of the United States is
Lord, we trust in you.
Guys, we're 2 away from flipping the seat, the Senate.
President, our country.
Let's see.
All to you.
218 for majority, and I mean, I feel like we're there.
Amen.
I got this $1,000 camera.
It's crazy. Trump, the Republicans are leading in everything.
Online auctions since 2009. This PlayStation 5 sold for only 50 cents. This iPad Pro sold for less than $34.
Where are they reporting that he got Georgia?
For less than $20.
I got this KitchenAid stand mixer for only $56. I got this barbecue smoker for $26.
And shipping is always free.
Go to dealdash.com right
Where are y'all seeing the Georgia Newsmax?
You need the West End by God.
Yes.
Repent! Come and be baptized in the River Jordan!
Alright, a lot of people are saying he's got Georgia. Guess we're about to find out.
We are back, and Jackie Heinrich is standing by at the Harris campaign headquarters, where there is a lot of votes still to come in tonight. What's the mood over there at this point, though, Jackie?
You know, Martha, every once in a while we get this glaring reminder that just over 3 months ago, this was Joe Biden's campaign. Every time we want to get any information from campaign officials, we have to text someone in Wilmington. There aren't any campaign staffers walking around, and that means that often we can't get answers to simple things like, how many people are in this crowd? Who's in this crowd? What is their connection to the vice president? Which groups were invited? We've posed these questions to the campaign.
We're getting a good lead in PA right now.
Answers. And I've also spoken to some sources close to Harris who are at watch parties nearby in the city. Friends, family, and donors had receptions at 2 big hotels in the area. They're now making their way over here. They'll be hanging out in a basement somewhere inside the building. But even they don't have confirmation that the vice president is going to come here tonight. We don't have any program for the speakers. And right now they've just been piping in CNN behind me. So we are waiting for anything substantive. The updates that we do get are over email from senior officials that are giving us sort of broad strokes as they're watching data come in. Right now, generally, they're feeling happy about long lines at college precincts in
Yeah, he's just walking away in North Carolina.
saying that that should be helping them with young voter turnout, guys.
All right,
But Jackie, let me just ask you. I mean, my chain with the Democrats kind of went dark too. When's the last time you got an update?
Well, they're responding to us, but what we ask, the answers we get are like, well, let me check on that. Literally, I asked how many people are in this crowd, what's their connection to the vice president, and that was an hour and a half ago. The person responded, let me check, working on it. I checked back, still working on it. How do you not have that answer? This is the Harris campaign, but they are in Wilmington. So it's just sort of a glaring reminder every once in a while that this apparatus was really thrown together in just over 3 months, guys.
Jackie Honor at the Harris campaign headquarters in D.C. Jackie, thanks.
Let's go to Wisconsin and check back in with Mike Tobin because we want to get an update, Mike, on what is going on with these machines. Has the voting stopped as they try to troubleshoot on this equipment, and what does it all mean?
Well, the county hasn't stopped. What they did is they put out an all-call for city employees. So they got firefighters, they got healthcare workers, IT workers here, trying to move this count along. They have to verify all of the metadata, if you will, on the top of the ballots before they can run them through these machines again. Now, here's the problem. We zoom it over my shoulder. I want to show you how these voting tabulators are working, or how the machines themselves ran into a problem. If you look at the back of that machine, there's a red sticker on the back of that machine. That effectively acts as the seal to prove that it hasn't been broken. But there's also a locking mechanism on the back of those machines. Now, those machines operated until the afternoon, and no one noticed that the stickers were in place, but the locking mechanisms hadn't been engaged. A Republican observer noticed that, raised the red flag, brought it with the city officials. The city officials say they believe that the integrity of the vote was never compromised, but out of an abundance of caution, some 31,000 ballots had to go back to the starting point, start all over again. We've got 107,000 ballots out here. At last report, some 43,000 ballots had been through the process. We expected to get some final numbers from the city of Milwaukee around 1 or 2 a.m. The city can't speculate what the final numbers now. We just know that it's going to be later. The city is trying to pass this off as an abundance of caution, but you've had some Republican leaders out here, like Senator Ron Johnson, who said that this is simply unacceptable. They had a long time to preserve the integrity of this, to make sure that these machines were locked, a simple step in the process. They're not happy with it. We heard from the RNC chairs, Laura Trump, Michael Watley, saying this is an unacceptable example of incompetence. So they're trying to get this thing done. They're hoping this doesn't really stretch into tomorrow, but they are anticipating that the vote will now continue into the early mornings, the early hours of Wednesday. Guys, back to you.
Just to be clear, Mike, they're saying that they're going to keep counting. Like Pennsylvania has said, they're going to keep going. They're not going to stop and go home and take a break. And
Musk has quoted James in mass. I'm sure Trump's talking to him, so.
1,000 of those are the ones that have to go back through the process. So it's delaying the process, it's not tanking the process, and the city officials, again, want to insist that the integrity of the process was not compromised. They just want to be extra cautious.
Okay, Mike Tobin in Milwaukee. Mike, thanks.
So let's bring our panel back in, and we have some new people joining us at this hour.
Guys, we've been holding 600 to 800 people the whole time. That's awesome.
Has come back to join us, and Mark Penn and Charlie Hurt. Welcome to Mark and Charlie. Great to have you guys here. Mark, let me start with you. What's your read on this evening? And we're looking at North Carolina and Georgia and Virginia very closely right now.
Well, my read is that this is a real tug-of-war election. And all we're saying right now is the Trump forces seem to be pulling that rope just a little bit more. What you see is that he's doing a little bit better with minority voters. The suburban wave for Harris did not materialize, and Trump is doing very well.
Yeah, I'm going to replace that lamp.
So there's just infinitesimal change.
I'm going to get rid of it, actually. I don't know what happened to it.
Divided country. The polls were right. We will be divided between the elites and the working class and what they think the direction of America is. But right now in that tug of war, Trump's forces seem to be pulling a little stronger.
And the elites appear to be on, at least the way it's shaping up tonight, on the blue side, and the working class is on the red side. This is not, this is a development that has happened in the Trump years.
I asked you 3 nights in a row, who do you want to be? Right now at 10:36 p.m., who do you want to vote? Right now, I want to be Donald Trump, because these votes are coming in. You take a look at Philadelphia. Philadelphia, he had 12%. Then he had 18%, the same as he had last time. Now he's got 21%. He's got 3 points better than he had last time. That's what he needs to pull Pennsylvania.
She still has a path, but it relies entirely at this stage, I think, on winning the 3 big.
Hollybug.
What do you think her chances are?
That's what I'm saying. I think her chances are diminishing the more.
What do you think, honey?
There's no question that I think this race now is going to be.
It's getting tough, ain't it? She's like, Dad, are you going to go to bed anytime soon? Come on.
Let's call it a 55% chance of winning.
You going to go to bed? Sorry.
We've got more information, I think, on Pennsylvania than the others. I think that is, I think, pulling more in his direction the more these votes are being counted.
You're wore out, huh? You ran down 600 miles today.
I'm sure. You know, you early on questioned the strategy that had led to inflation in the Biden administration. You thought they should have addressed it much sooner. You also questioned whether or not he should be.
Thanks, Lee. I appreciate it.
That kind of switch up should have happened
Oh,
sooner.
little punk.
What do you think tonight about the
Get him off.
I think Harris will have run a very credible race. She is getting the Democratic constituency probably doing better than Biden would have done because Biden was really collapsing. She's getting the Democratic constituency.
They said you look like Chewbacca, Holly.
Who wins? Whoever is president is going to have
Look at
to
Chip
address
down here.
all of America. But I think she ran a good race, almost an excellent race.
What are you doing, Chipster?
It's a key point because we're comparing Biden to 2020 numbers when he won, but the numbers where he was when she took over were not those numbers.
Disaster.
Yeah.
We have a call, Mac. The Fox News decision desk.
This is Chip.
Former President Trump will win the state of Iowa. Trump is performing well in rural areas, which helped deliver victories.
I seen somebody asking about the big dogs. So they're coming to the farm, and we're at. I don't want to talk about it completely, but we'll talk about it later.
I think we've talked about it 7 times tonight, but anyway, it got a lot of attention. It was a attention-getting poll, and it was being forecast to be what the Midwest may look like. Maybe because of a gender gap or whatever she was seeing in her poll and Seltzer. We are now calling Iowa for the former president.
Yeah, I mean,
SH Tube is doing good. I just talked to Rob earlier. I figured he'd done called back.
I think all of us when we saw that and Seltzer, because the reason is she has an excellent reputation. She's called a lot of things well. In fact, she called the Trump lead in 2016 in her polling, and everyone thought she was crazy. She had like +6 or something.
Trump
like
got
that.
Iowa.
Winning the caucus in Texas. Yes, so she has a good reputation, but this one appears to be a blip on her screen because clearly Iowa isn't.
Oh, they're thinking you're a Democrat, dog.
Thoughts about what's developing.
So you think about what everyone's saying. This blue wall, there are 44 electoral votes there in Michigan, Wisconsin, and
Braxton get her fired
if
up.
she loses Virginia, Nevada's 6. That gives her 50. If she wins Virginia, it gives her 57. She has a very.
Get 'em all, get 'em.
I think as you look back, and this is a big if here. We talked about it. I think in the last segment we talked a little bit about the.
She needs to be groomed.
Laura did. And if she looks back, I think 3 things, and you said one of them. Should you have chosen Shapiro? Where we're going is where we look like we're going to go. Should you have countered on a transgender issue more quickly and more effectively? And then the border and the economy. Should she have distanced herself from Biden? Now look, we're still early, still a little early in the evening. I agree with Mark. It's still a little pull one way.
No, I just don't want to invite no more, does there?
If you want to win the campaign, so she's got to run the tables here over the next hour or two, over the next day or so, if we're hearing correctly about Wisconsin. But it does not look as
all right.
as it did a few hours ago.
Let's head back to Bill real quick. Bill, can we dip into Virginia, the Commonwealth?
Yeah. Say it again, Brett. Sorry about that.
Oh, sorry. That's okay. Go ahead. Do what you're going to do. We'll get to Virginia.
Okay, I'll give you a little run up the Atlantic coast here, okay? This is Georgia. Too soon to call. You ask yourself, why can't you call it? There's still some vote out there. The question is, where is the vote? And what's going to come in? Trump's up 3.2 points statewide. So you come in here to the greater Atlanta area, and this is Fulton. Our Fox Insights tell us, okay, this is different. It's just changed from a moment ago, all right? At this point in the night, with 82% of the vote reporting, in Fulton County, the largest of 159, Trump's up 0.6 points from where he was 4 years ago. All right, I'll clear that. Let's come back out statewide. This is Cobb County. We talked about that earlier. Okay, at this point in the night, our Fox Insights tell us that Harris is up 1.3 points better and where Biden was at this point from 4 years ago. We'll clear that. We'll also go to Douglas 2 here, okay? At this point, it's all greater Atlanta, a lot of population throughout the area. At this point, 90% reporting here in Douglas County, Harris is doing 2.9 points better than what Biden did 4 years ago.
We don't care about Biden.
I mentioned Chatham County about 2 hours ago. That's Savannah. They counted slow 4 years ago. They're counting slow yet again, but you get a lot of Democratic votes out of Chatham down here on the Atlantic coast. A lot of folks live there too, 5 out of 159. So we'll see how that shakes out. Okay, let's run up the coast here and let you know what we're seeing here in North Carolina. That'll hit Virginia. That'll hit Pennsylvania, all right? Trump up 2.5 in North Carolina. Why can't we call it? I was looking at Mecklenburg County with Charlotte. Okay, so they've had a lot of votes come in since the last time I checked. There's a lot of outstanding votes. You have to ask yourself, where are the votes, right? If they're in the most populated places, you can't make a call. But now you're getting a lot more from Charlotte. This is Wake County, Raleigh. It's #1. Still about 20% of the vote out there, okay? Comfortable lead for Harris. We expected that, but let me just check 2020 and go ahead and use the slide again. Okay, so she's performing half a point better than Joe Biden finished from 4 years ago. So we're keeping track of that. You wanted Virginia. I'm getting there, guys. Hang on 1 second here. Just got to move the meter. We'll see what's happening here in the Commonwealth.
All right, so while you're checking that, Charlie Hurt's from Virginia.
Yeah. Tight squeeze.
So what are you looking at, Charlie?
Virginia.
What are you looking at?
So it's kind of interesting, actually. That,
I wonder if they're just not calling it because they want to keep it rolling.
Across the state. It was fairly extraordinary with the early vote, both early mail-in vote and then early in-person
That's
vote.
what I'm wondering.
All of the big D-plus counties in the state were significantly down from 4 years ago, including the big counties like Fairfax, Richmond, and then all of the R-plus counties were significantly higher this time than they were 4 years ago. And so if you had just looked at those early numbers and then look at this, it's actually not that surprising that it's this close, even though Virginia is, for all intents and purposes, a blue state now and has been since George W. Bush, or since Obama anyway. But it is, I think that Governor Youngkin, who said, watch out, it's going to be tight here, is probably looking at those same numbers and realizes that this thing might actually be the surprise tonight.
These down here. So these will go up as they get as he wins a state or she wins a state. Those numbers will go up.
Where that vote is outstanding and whether it changes the dynamic.
No question. And Glenn Youngkin's been a great partner with Donald Trump this whole time on the campaign trail. He told me personally when I asked him, do you think it's really competitive a couple months ago? He said, I think you're going to force Biden Harris to spend some time and money there. And that's happened. But it was ground zero for the parents' rights movement, the school stuff in 2021. I wanted to say something. Kamala Harris's team.
I mean, I really feel like we still got a chance in Virginia. We're so close.
Since they've gone Democrat from 1992 to 2020, 28 straight years with the exception of 2016, they went for Trump. They've always voted as a bloc, but they also ran out of choices. I would have thought she'd do better in those more racially diverse Sunbelt states like Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, and even North Carolina. She's in the very white states trying to become president of the United States. Here's the problem I see for the Harris and the Democrats right now. Demography is not destiny. That's what I think of this electorate. We think we're only going to get women by talking about abortion. We're going to get Hispanics if we talk about immigration. That's how Trump is getting it. We're going to get African Americans if we talk about this. Whose big idea was it to over-prosecute Donald Trump with all these cases? You think a lot of black men in this country are going to stand up and say, I think the system has been against me. I think that's unfair.
I can't believe how close North Carolina is. I can't believe how anything is this close, especially after the hurricane.
They think that people coming over the border are taking their jobs. And you got Barack Obama telling them, you're not right. Stop telling us who we are, what we think, how to eat, how to vote. This is the election where people are turning on its head. Last point, young voters. I think Harris is going to underperform Joe Biden nationwide on young voters. There too. Let's get rid of the old guy and put in a 60-year-old woman and then call Donald Trump, well, that's how we get young people. It's not how you get young people. You get young people if they think they can afford a house before they're 52 under your policies. You get young people if they think they want to be president of their own small business, not president of this country one day, and they can survive and thrive doing that. So this whole demography thing that we should vote according to our gender, our race, our age, this is the election where I think I hit a wall.
Can I ask a quick question just to Mark and Kelly? If things hold right now, when we are, does she only have to win the blue wall just for the sake of the audience to win it? So if everything happens, she wins Arizona, he wins Nevada, he wins Georgia, North Carolina. If she wins Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, does she win?
Yes.
Yes. So the blue wall remains what we have.
She has one big path. Yeah, he's got two paths, but you got to get one of them.
Is that true, Bill?
Pretty much, yeah.
Because it gets her to 270 with the 3.
Yeah, with the 3 plus Nebraska too. I think it's too early to start filling this thing in here. I don't want to start just yet, but I don't know, we're kind of warming up the fryer, whatever you say.
But just show how it happened. Just show the 3.
Yeah, for her, it would be Nebraska 2. But we got to go a long way, so just, it's going to take me a while to get there. Okay, so she would have to win all the usual states here. There's just too many to fill in, right?
Oh, gotcha.
Boom, 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 boom.
Good.
Oh my gosh, what am I missing? Holy cow. Okay, Maine,
Nebraska,
Hawaii, the 5th.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's why I didn't want to do it just yet, because we got to go a ways. But maybe like another half hour, an hour or so, we'll fill in a few more. If you got time, I'll take you to Arizona, unless you got something else to do. Let me go ahead and reset this, because there's some movement here. There's some movement here in the American Southwest. This is Arizona, first time we're looking at it on the night, and Trump has just taken 1/10 of a point lead. Kamala Harris had the edge here for really the past hour. This is Maricopa, this is Phoenix, this is where you get 16%.
Okay, so all the big cities in Arizona's in, so that's good.
She has an edge of 2.2 percentage points. Wrong vote 562,000. I'm going to bring out the slide again, okay, and go back to
Now Holly's moved.
And this is Joe Biden in Arizona. So she's up about half a point, not quite. All right, but Donald Trump's performing a little better right now at this point, but there's still just about half of the vote out, and too soon to call there in Arizona. Let me come back to modern.
Did she get New Mexico?
And see if this has changed. It has not. This roll votes 2,200. So we'll watch that. Just want to take a sneak peek of that. You guys mentioned Iowa, the state that shall not be named, or the poll that shall not be named. This is nuts.
Dang, Trump
14.5 points.
killed Iowa.
Yeah, that's not. Guys, there's a ton of votes still out there too. This thing could go higher. Anyway,
It's a little outside the margin of error. Okay.
Let's go over to Sandra and get a look, because we've been talking about young voters, and you have some new stuff from our Fox News.
Brax, who's going to win the election?
Trump,
baby.
In just a second, I'll dive into age first for you, Martha. And it is pretty incredible, some of the data that we're seeing in our Fox News voter analysis. This age group 65 and over, okay, it is a dead heat. Split the vote there, but just note, Donald Trump led this group by 3 points in 2020. So he is in fact slightly underperforming with that group. But here is a huge story that we are seeing develop. Voters under age 30, 52% of the vote going to Harris, 44% to Trump. That's an 8-point margin that she's leading by. Biden led with this group by 25 points. Kellyanne was just talking about this a moment ago. He led by 25 points with this age group back in 2020.
Eyes don't get it, guys. I really don't.
Underperforming with the younger voters right now. Want to jump back in and also talk about the Hispanic vote and what we are seeing there. This also telling a huge story of the night. Kamala Harris getting 56% of the support there. Donald Trump 40. Okay, so she's leading by 16 points. Biden led with this group by 21. Again, she's underperforming there. I want to break that down by gender when it comes to the Hispanic vote, because this also telling a story. Hispanic women, for example. Okay, Harris is leading by 24 points with this group right now. Biden led with this group by 34 Hispanic women. Underperforming there. Comes with Hispanic men. Look at this story. Harris is up by 6 points with Hispanic men. Biden led with 19 points. So there is really some interesting stories developing with the younger voters and the Hispanic vote out there. Brett and Martha, as you know, we have heard it.
All right, let's go see what the Democrats are looking like right now.
They don't like what they're seeing with illegal immigration in this country. They've been speaking about that. We are seeing that show up in our analysis.
Senator, thank you.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff, especially about Hispanic work.
And that gap, that 20-plus gap that we're seeing, we've been seeing it for a long
Direction
time.
that
We've
serves
been talking
locally.
about it for a long
So
time. It has
all
shown
I'm
up
saying
in
at this
polls
moment
that,
is
she was
it might
underperforming
remind a
by
lot of
about
people of
more than
2020 because it
20
is similar in regards to the
Hispanic
blue
voters,
wall.
Brett. It's
Now,
a
what Dina
very
said as well with Georgia
They're
likely
all
going to Trump, it's
calling
not
it
fully
for
confirmed
him.
yet,
It
but
is in
some
the
networks
red.
are already giving Georgia to Trump. Nevada, Arizona become more in play. It would be a harder road to victory for Kamala Harris. She would still need essentially Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin to go in our favor. But with Georgia going to Trump, that's a different decision that was made via 2020. So what we need to still look at is what's Pennsylvania doing at this moment in time. It's not doing anything more kind of alarming than what it was doing in 2020. So let's just remember that. Remember that as we go forward. Remind ourselves of that because everybody has short-term memory. Maybe people are just blocking it out because every Trump election comes with its own kind of baggage of trauma that comes along with it, and these endless nights where we're constantly watching the ticker go back and forth. I believe
I mean, they're all saying it's over.
Donald Trump in the popular vote, which from what Anthony was saying at the start, if that is to come to fruition, then we're going to have different conversations. We're going to have to really think about, what is moving the country on a level to that extent. If the popular vote is to favor Donald Trump, it's way too early to give any kind of credit to that prediction or not, and it just shows you how different these kind of more traditional media landscapes are, what directions they're going. It's on completely opposite sides of the spectrum.
But they're so antiquated, aren't they? I mean, even the New York Times, I don't think of any of these organizations or publications as anything to look up to anymore. And the fact that, a lot of these organizations, LA Times is one of them, Washington Post also, have not been allowed to support a candidate for the first time in forever because of their corporate overlords. It is really a kind of testament to the loss of democracy, even in the media and even in journalism. And, it really is important that these newspapers should be able to make the case for a candidate. And the fact that hasn't happened, was it the owner of the LA Times? What business is he in? He's in some really kind of strange industry, biotech or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
right.
she invented something.
What the hell is this guy owning a newspaper for? He made all his money in biotech. You stay in that world because, it's just very important that these traditions remain. And when they don't, and the ownership changes, then for me anyway, I don't read those things anymore. So I don't think it should be down to the New York Times to make these decisions for us anymore. I think we here have a much better place with which to operate from, and that is just with the numbers. It's just down to the numbers. I mean, during the moment that Adam was doing, Adam Mockler was on, I popped next door and I turned on MSNBC. My heart rate, my watch started pinging me. I was like, this is crazy. They genuinely do make it like it is, like an episode of Jeopardy. And it shouldn't be like that. We're talking about the future of the country and its administration. And if Trump were to win, America would experience something that previously was only reserved for the nations that America kind of went into and brought about regime change. Because that's how I describe Donald Trump's future presidency, if he were to win, one of regime change, where the landscape of how we live and our freedoms would change unrecognizably. And so I'm not tempting fate, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but people need to know what it is that they are voting for.
So just to give some updated reporting out of Detroit, Harris had 93% of the vote there, Trump 6%. Detroit, Michigan, as we talked about before, he said, what a surprise. He said, America will be like Detroit, right? If he doesn't win. And you know what? I mean, I definitely was very disappointed by the Washington Post and LA Times not endorsing anybody. But to be fair to the New York Times, they did endorse Trump and came out yesterday with yet another editorial opinion. Let's end the Trump movement once and for all. So, at least somebody did it. I don't know if I believe in this legal situation either, especially the fact that the CBS, which is just as credible, is having completely different views. So we'll have to wait and see. But our media, throughout our history has been owned by Byron, by these tech, or not tech, by like rich men. I mean, that is kind of like part of our American history. We have had really rich men controlling our media for so many years. And that's why public radio, public news, and sources like Midas Touch.
Well, hell yeah. They're freaking out. They're saying it's over, so.
The Fox News decision desk can project that in Maine, Vice President Harris will win the statewide vote. Trump will win an electoral vote in the rural 2nd district in the state of Maine.
Fox News can also project that Maine Senator Angus King will win his race. He's an independent who caucuses with the Democrats. So as we look now, the Senate...
How's there 2 votes in Maine?
Look at some interesting races in Ohio and Montana coming up.
So let's check in with Aisha Hasney at the Trump campaign headquarters in West Palm Beach, Florida, where I would imagine the mood is fairly good.
It is very good, Martha. Earlier this evening, a lot of folks were coming up to me and saying they're not sure if they're going to get a decision tonight. They thought it was going to take a few days, and that has completely flipped. And people are expecting there to be an answer tonight and it to be favorable for the former president. I just talked to a campaign official who tells me that over in Mar-a-Lago, where former President Trump is right now, watching the results come in, the mood there is positive. And I'm working to confirm right now if the former president made some remarks to a crowd there and what exactly he said, but everyone there appears to be feeling very, very good. And just found out as well that Speaker Mike Johnson, the House Speaker, who's in Shreveport, Louisiana right now at his district, appears to be making plans to come here to be with former President Trump. Back to you.
Aisha, thank you very much. We'll keep a close eye on Trump headquarters as we continue to give you some more updates on what's going on right now. We don't have a call for any new states at this point. We're waiting for Montana, waiting to get a look at the Sheehy race in Montana as well. We have some new guests who have joined us on the panel that we want to get to. So let's welcome them in.
And as we get ready for the top of the hour, we'll make some new calls.
First, and then we'll get right to you guys. Wow, time is going so fast.
All right, we got more polls just closed, so.
It is now 11 p.m. in New York, and 4 West Coast states have just finished voting. The Fox News decision desk can project that Vice President Harris will win California, the Golden State, 54 electoral votes, biggest prize, more than any other state in the country.
And Fox News can also project that Harris will win Oregon, adding 8 more votes to her Electoral College vote. Harris will also win Washington, another reliably Democratic northwestern state.
But former president will win Idaho's 4 electoral votes. So as we see the race to 270, it's now 216 to 193. Race is changing quickly. I am getting some word from the Democrats who have now put out kind of a sense of the race, saying that in Pennsylvania, they say they're overperforming turnout expectations in Philadelphia and the early vote expectations in Bucks County. They go into state by state of where they feel like they're going to see more votes in these states. These are the blue wall states, because that is the path that we're looking at. In Wisconsin, they say we know there's a significant amount of vote remaining in Dane and Milwaukee counties, and we're seeing signs of strong performance in the Wow counties. We just have partial data. We don't expect complete results from Wisconsin until tomorrow morning between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. We shall see.
We shall see. California Senate races we talked about can project that the current Democratic congressman
I can't believe California.
will win his
They had a
race
chance to turn over their life.
Steve Garvey in that Senate race, and Washington's incumbent Democratic Senator Maria Cantwell.
What the heck, California? Come on, y'all had a chance here.
Surprises on that front this evening either. So here's the balance of power in the Senate: 49 for Republicans. The majority is 51. They have flipped one seat. 42 for the Democrats as we wait for a number of these big Senate races to be called. Ohio, Montana, Pennsylvania, all will really dictate the future of the Senate.
And Michigan. Let's bring in our panel. Brig Hume, Dana Perino, Harold Ford Jr. They've been here for a while. Kevin O'Leary, Jessica Tarlaw, and Ben Domenech. Jessica, are you surprised?
I'm surprised is a very generous term for how I'm feeling at this particular moment. It is in Democrats' nature to be anxious, and we are certainly at peak anxiousness. I think the conversation that you were having in the last panel about the
I hate that girl.
is really interesting. Some of these numbers are a little bit jaw-dropping, looking at, potentially 45% for Donald Trump in some states, and that is going to cause a real reckoning within the party and how we talk about, message to, and integrate, a huge part of our base typically in all of this. I would say though that the campaign and people that I've been speaking to said nothing has been called. Our paths to 270 have not been blocked off, and as we continue to get more vote in, and I should add to the numbers that they messaged to you, Detroit is coming in, and Detroit had a very good day with in-person voting today, and the suburbs of Atlanta outperforming where Biden was there. One point of concern is that she's not doing as well in the rural areas as Biden did, and that's something that they're paying attention to. But I'm hearing more and more from people that I'm speaking to, blue wall. And this morning we were talking about, well, if you pick up North Carolina and Georgia, again, they're not off the map.
Rex.
But it is feeling like more
Rex.
laser focus on the easiest route.
You not hear her?
Ben, welcome. First
Holly.
of all, good to see you
She's
tonight.
wanting you.
I'm sitting here thinking about
And now she's over here. Call her.
Republicans went through after Mitt Romney lost, and they did this huge analysis of what was going wrong with the Republican Party and why they weren't reaching Hispanic voters, why they couldn't reach working class voters, why they weren't bringing in more women. And it really is stunning when you think about that. That was Mitt Romney's loss, and it appears that the person who has
Arizona is so close.
is Donald Trump.
Well, they called it an autopsy at the time, and I think it's turned out to be an autopsy.
We're still doing good in
for
Wisconsin at
Party of the
60% in.
And I think that Donald Trump has done something incredible in resurrecting it with a new coalition that, a lot of people never thought Republicans were going to be able to reach, that they weren't going to be able to cut through a lot of these different fundamental problems that people thought were there.
Oh, dang, we're leading good in PA right now.
The electorate. And look, I think the big question they have to be asking is, how much of that is tied to Donald Trump himself, and how much of it is something that the Republican Party going forward can build on? And regardless of whatever ends up happening here tonight and tomorrow morning, in terms of these blue wall states and the things that we take away, certainly we can take away. This is the most incredible political comeback that we've seen since 1968. It's the most incredible remaking of the Republican coalition that we've seen in a way that was really unexpected by all the handful of people.
We need one more state. If Trump gets Wisconsin, PA, Arizona, North Carolina, Georgia, I feel like we got Georgia. I feel like we've got North Carolina. I feel like we've got, if we get Georgia, North Carolina, we could get Arizona, we could get PA, we could get Wisconsin, we could get Michigan, one of the four.
Kamala Harris at 7.0%. You're a market guy. How do you read this?
I'm going to stay on the stage for a moment and call this perhaps the greatest night the Democratic Party could ever have if they lose. And let me explain that. I was very troubled just over 100 days ago when they circumvented the democratic process and anointed somebody. The analogy is easy to a presidential race. Your quarterback, Biden, is injured. He's taken out of the game. You don't bring a quarterback in.
All right, guys, I think I'm going to get something to eat and take about an hour nap and then get back up and check it.
And they missed that opportunity. There's just a chance for them to.
I'm having a hard time keeping my eyes open.
I'm going to those percentages and say, they get to reboot. They get to go back to the center. They get to scratch this whole thing, and the influences of a Schumer or a Pelosi or a movie star or an Obama deciding to anoint somebody.
I'm glad y'all hung out with us, though, and we'll talk about it on the next video. See what happens. That's a big night for us.
But I care about policy. And when I hear policies coming out of a party that are so...
Yeah, if I get back up, I'll get back up and see how it's going. I might go back live here in just a little bit.
Capital gains that are unrealized. That's not
I'll see y'all later.
Or price controls. That's not